and we'll take you through a match which feasibly could end with Wrexham top of the table. Wrexham will be so pleased with their current form, 3 wins out of 3, keeping clean sheets in those matches too, and now this rugged approach is taken down to the south coast to visit Torquay United, a side who are having a rough time of it. They've got 2 points only so far this season. 1 point earned on the opening day of the season against a team which finished the game with 9 men, and the other point earned last Saturday against Chester. Well, that's an easy point, ain't it? Anyway, Wrexham lining up with 1 change from the side which beat Bromley last Saturday, and not a surprising one either, because Marcus Kelly is not fit, he's not been able to travel down, and so Leo Smith continues on the left-hand side of midfield. So the Wrexham side, Christian Dibble in goal. At right back is James Hurst, left back James Jennings, the central defenders Manny Smith and Sean Pearson. In midfield, Sam Wedgbury and Akil Rice are in the middle. On the right hand side, Paul Rutherford, on the left hand side, Smith, and up front, Alex Reid and Natumba Masanka. The subs bench for Wrexham, a welcome return from injury for Chris Holroyd, alongside new sub-keeper Callum Preston, Mark Harrington, Kevin Roberts and Scott Bowden. As for the Torquay side, they've made 1 change, but it's a significant one, because coming in at the back is Josh Gowling, who was their mainstay, really, their main purchase this summer. Club captain, good centre-back who's played against us in the playoffs for Kidderminster Harriers, quality player. And they'd be glad to have him back, because they do look shaky defensively, as you might expect from the sides that are struggling in the league. They have Vincent Dorel in goal. Across the back, Ryan Higgins is right back. Left back is Chinua Hall. The centre-backs are Gowling and Sean McGinty. They also play 4-4-2. Luke Young and George Dowling are in the centre of midfield. Right-hand side, Andy Howarth. Left-hand side, Jamie Reid. And up front, Rory Keating. Yeah, related to Ronan Keating, we all know that. And James Gray, Wrexham's erstwhile Spider-Man, the man who had a season at Wrexham 2 seasons ago, curtailed by a number of issues, one of which was a mystery insect bite. He's looked in tasty form despite being at a struggling team, though. Scored a great goal a couple of games ago, and then last Saturday, the sort of luck you get when you're down the bottom of the table, scored an absolute screamer against Chester, which would have put them 2 up, but it was disallowed because of a push off the ball by a teammate. The subs bench has Mish Sheffet, John Paul Pittman, Miles Anderson, he's the centre-back who's made way from last match, Rory Fallon and Neil Osborne. So, no, James, no real surprises in that Wrexham lineup, in all honesty, and I guess continuity is very much what Dean Keats is aiming for at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what was the old adage? You don't change a winning team. He's only changed Leo Smith, which is a substitute for Mark Kelly anyway. So technically, really, the 11 that, you know, with injuries, the 11 that built the win last time. So yeah, I mean, hopefully this is a game we can continue our run with. I don't think Dean and the players will have any complaints about the pitch. It's absolutely perfect down here. It's real lush grass, really flat, nice surface to play on. And I think it will encourage the style of play that Dean likes when you come to some away matches where the pitch isn't as a great condition. It can hamper you a bit. So it's going to be something they're used to playing on. So I can't see, as long as we keep the progression, keep the defence tight, which it has been the last 3 games, and keep starting to create these chances that we are, then we've got every chance to make it 4 in a row.
Yeah, the pitch is taking a bit of a battering. Funnily enough, this is the one ground I come to where we have a sort of relationship with the groundsman. He's a very friendly chap. Geraint Parry, club legend, and I were talking about this before the game, and Geraint's had a chat with him today even. He always seems to be waiting at the door to give you the latest prospects on the pitch. It looks fantastic. It's taken a hell of a lot of rain. It was pouring down as we were coming down this morning on the journey, and about 1:30 it took a lot of liquid on as well, and you wouldn't think it to look at it, and you wouldn't think that the groundsman said he has great drainage problems here as well, because it looks absolutely pristine. So
groundsman of the year last year as well.
Well, you can see why, can't you? Because
it's a lot of water down this end of the country, and the pitch looks fantastic.
Yeah, it really does. So that's good news for Wrexham, at least, when they try to get the ball forwards, and a slick surface might not hurt us when we're trying to turn Torquay's defence. Torquay, a side that I've scouted, and I encouragingly feel that their weaknesses match our strengths as well. They don't look great from corners. We look decent from corners. They're the keeper, who played his first game of the season last Saturday and has been retained, doesn't like having a man on him from set pieces. He tries to get out to attack the ball, doesn't get anywhere near it on some occasions. And they have slowish centre-backs that you can turn, and we have quick strikers we try to play in. So all those things look encouraging, and Dean Keats, I guess, just has to try and maintain the approach we've had and grind them down, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance to see Torquay this season. I can only go on what I saw last year when they came to the racecourse, and it was two teams that served up a drab game of football, really. It was, if anyone had been a decent team that day, they'd have scored by a country mile. But I think it's going to help. Dean's got these two strikers up front now that just utilise the pace, and pace will always be a threat at this level, because the defenders don't tend to be the quickest, and you can turn them. While strikers at this level, I mean, we're lucky we've got two from higher up that have come down. Masanka isn't he struggled in a few games and possibly should have buried more chances than he's had, but he does have that threat, and the dual-pronged attack that Dean's sort of stuck with over the last few weeks has paid dividends. We've looked more creative, we looked more dangerous, so I can't blame him for sticking that. I'd like to see Scott Bowden given a chance at one point, because I do think he's one of the most intelligent strikers we've had in a while at the club, and told to ball up well. And Holroyd, in that sort of 30-minute cameo we did see at the first game of the season, he looks like he's got lots of effort in. So it's nice that Dean's now got those options, and that puts pressure, and the squad can actually, play on merit to a certain extent. But I think you're right, the two strikers up front will put pressure on two centre-halves if they don't like pace and don't like getting turned. And if the keeper doesn't like pressure on him, we've also got players that don't mind a challenge.
Absolutely right, and it's good to see Holroyd back as well, and he's a player who would suit this approach, playing balls into turner defenders. In the short time we had to see him on the first day of the season, we saw that he really had pace to burn, so that's really encouraging as well. Dean Keats encouraged. Let's have a listen to what he had to say after the Bromley match.
I'm Chris Holroyd, following Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
Clean sheets, you've always got the chance to go and win the game, doing a clean sheet.
Last time we spoke, we talked about the importance of the clean sheet, but this was more like an overall performance for the whole team.
Yeah, I thought second half they were a lot better. We played more on the front foot. We played passing was a lot crisper and a lot more fluent to create chances. I thought first half we were a bit laboured.
2 goals for Matamba.
Yeah, 2 goals for him. 2 great chances from in the right area. For the first one for the header, good play. Obviously, then we caught man a break for the second.
And a good cross for the first one as well.
Obviously it was a great ball in. We've been working on stuff like that. Obviously, we transferred the ball from one side of the pitch. Great ball off Jenna.
But of course, once again, we've got to thank Christian Dibble in the goal to that first half penalty save. Yeah, and obviously, to be fair to him, he dropped out of training yesterday, and we had to try and rush something through last night to get Calon pressing him, just to give us some cover. We lost Dunny on Thursday, and we almost looked like we lost Dibs yesterday after training, but fair to him, he's got himself back fit, he got himself fit, well as fit as he could be, considering the injury he had on his back yesterday, and I thought he was outstanding today. As well as other players across the pitch, really, for Wrexham, the 2 central defenders, the 2 in midfield worked hard, I thought, Dean.
Yeah, as you said, I think not just singling 4 players, like you have, I'd say everybody worked hard. I don't think first half we were bright enough, we were passing and crisp enough, but there was a reaction in the second half, and it was a lot better.
Looking forward to next week now, an away match, and then back at the racecourse. It could well be that you're building up some sort of momentum. Yeah, we've won 3 games in the bounce, but the division it is how it is. Anybody can go and beat anybody in the division, and obviously you look at Bromley, they come here today in the first half and gave it a right go, and obviously they've made a great save for penalty. Marcus Kelly went off with a little bit of an injury in the first half. Was that about it?
No, it was more precaution. He just sees hamstring tightened up, so obviously we'll see how he reacts through the week, and all being well, he'll be caught in time.
And once again, I'd ask you the question about loan signings and so on. Anything likely in the coming week?
There's possibility. Obviously, we didn't do nothing just before the window. Obviously, we had to rush one through yesterday on a non-contract. There's options there, but obviously we'll have Chris Holroyd back this week, and Jack McCoo will be joining back in training, so obviously we've got 2 extra bodies to look at.
I'm Christian Dibble, follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
So, Dean Keats feeling positive. Wrexham feeling positive at the moment. If we can win today, then not only will we maintain momentum, not only will we keep our spot up near the top of the table, but it'll be the first time we've won 4 games in a row since August 2015, which would be a rather nice stat to pull up. And what encourages me as well, James, is that I sort of feel when I look at this team, I think we look good when we haven't got the ball. I think there's a lot of progress we could make when we haven't got the ball. And I like the idea that, yeah, this looks like a work in progress, and yet it's already right up near the top of the table. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you talk about a lot of teams that don't play well but pick up points. That's always sort of the sign of a decent side, and we are doing that. We're certainly nowhere near full strength in terms of what we can play on the pitch, or what I believe we can play on the pitch. We know that defence is going to be a solid back four, and it's proved it. It's nice to see that most of them are on 2-year contracts apart from Hurst, although Kevin Roberts hasn't done badly either, and he's there as right back. Christian Dibble's given himself a real shout with the injury to Chris Dunn and coming and perform well. It's just getting that midfield and strikers to gel, and there's signs of it coming, and it's developing game by game. You know, I was critical a few games back of we're not creating chances, but I can't say that as much in the last couple of games, because we have been creating chances, or at least we're not working the defence and working the goalkeeper. You don't mind if you're not necessarily, if the game's tight and you're up against good defence, but to not have anything in the box, in some games we've seen that this year, and we've not put a cross in, we've not had a shot in the box, we've not had that force that goal yard scramble. We're doing that now. We're starting to, we look like there's a chance as a golden side. And as long as we've got that and we keep developing and eventually find that pattern, if we're picking up points on the way, that's brilliant. I mean, look at Tranmere last season. They played brilliant football the first 7 games of the season, went out straight out of the gates, shot to the top of the league, and then it capitulated. Well, we're not playing brilliant football, but we're up at the top there, and we've still got that, hopefully, good form to come at some point in the season. We're going to have a bad patch. You have a bad patch throughout every season, but it's how you manage those bad patches. And if we're calling this section sort of not the best start or the dream start we wanted, look at the points we've got. So, and that might be helped by other results around the league. It seems a stronger league to a certain extent. A lot of teams seem to, a lot of. You give me sort of part-time teams that maybe we saw 10 years ago, and you thought you expect to go down there and you did win. Now you expect that. Some people still have a mentality that will do it. They're not a lot of these teams, the part-time teams, particularly the southern teams. They've got a great pool of players, and they all seem to swap round and sign in, and that gives strength for some. You look at Sutton and on the back of the FA Cup money. There's a lot of teams that can do you damage, and the teams that have come up have shown that they can compete as well.
Absolutely right. It looks to me like a slightly funny sort of league in some senses, and it certainly isn't the sort of quality at the top end that we had when we were such a strong side and we were getting near on 100 points per season, when we got 3 years in a row in the playoffs, but then couldn't get ourselves through that barrier and into the Football League. So in that sense, I'm encouraged that it doesn't take that level of team to get through, and we're certainly competitive anyway.
If you can put yourself in contention and keep in that position and then go on a run, it's better than doing it without being starting from nothing.
Yeah, exactly right. As the teams are out on the pitch and shaking hands, and we're nearly ready to go here at Plainmoor, or whatever the heck this ground's called now. I can't remember what sponsors' names attached to it. It's Plainmoor as far as I'm concerned. The team's accompanied by Torquay's impressively homemade-looking mascot. He appears to be a seagull with a badly fitted toupee on his head, a sort of sideshow Bob-style seagull, who, for some reason, is dressed in a plastic bag. I'm not sure why.
He's got one of those free disposable rain jackets, so I think obviously he was expecting all weather.
It's impressive that they've managed to find one in mega gonk size. But anyway, the sides are going to get cracking in a moment. So just to take you through those sides again, Wrexham lining up with Christian Dibble in goal, right back James Hurst, left back James Jennings, Manny Smith and Sean Pearson in the middle, Paul Rutherford and Leo Smith on the flanks, Sam Wedgbury in the middle of midfield of Akil Wright, and up front Alex Reid and Matumba Masanka. The subs for Wrexham are Chris Holroyd, Calon Preston, Mark Carrington, Kevin Roberts and Scott Bowden. Torquay lineup with Vincent Dorel in goal. Across the back, Ryan Higgins, Sean McGinty, Josh Gowling and Chinar Cole. Across midfield, Andy Howarth, Luke Young, George Dowling and Jamie Reid. And up front, Rory Keating and James Gray as the captains. Sean Pearson and Josh Gowling, two rugged centre-backs if ever I saw them. I'm just going now to shake hands with the officials and get the pre-match pleasantries out of the way. The Torquay substitutes, Mish Affet, John Paul Pittman, Miles Anderson, Rory Fallon and Neil Osborne as the handshakes are done, and we're just about ready to go.
Hello, I'm Jack McRae. Follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
So, Wrexham will be defending the end where their fans are. Looks like a decent clump of Wrexham fans behind Dibble's goal. There's also seated area in the stand that we're in. It's hard to see how many are in there. It looks like a decent amount. So we certainly, I think, have brought a couple of hundred, I think, as Torquay completes their pre-match huddle. Remember, you can use hashtag ASKWXM, hashtag AskWrexham on Twitter to get in touch if you want to ask us any questions. But now we're about to get underway as Paul Rutherford stands on the ball and waits for permission from the referee, which is forthcoming, and Wrexham immediately knock it long. It goes over Higgins' head and out for a throw to Torquay by the corner flag, right-hand side, and Wrexham get an early opportunity just to box them in. It's Higgins who looks down the line. There's no real target man either in the Torquay side. I was saying pre-match about their style maybe fitting our strengths. They play it long to the two strikers a lot, but I don't see them getting that much in the air out of Smith and Pearson as from that throw. And Wrexham win it back, and Rutherford tries a through ball but overhits it massively, and Dorrell, the French keeper in a bright pink kit, takes it comfortably and hits it flat right, heads it away. It rather hits Dowling in the face, and then it's smashed away by Gowling. Well won in the air by Hurst. Rutherford on a halfway line turns. That's a nice little toe poke to Wedge, but he returns to defence straight away. Reid asks for a foul as he tries to get in behind McGinty. Not given, the linesman was right there. And will it roll out for a goal kick? McGinty wanted to, it just about does. But straight away there, something Wrexham are going to look to do. Two quick strikers. Nice ball by Wedgbury over the top, trying to turn those centre-backs.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that straight away in your summarised scouting report of Torquay, that will be something to look and getting that pace in behind. But you're right, if Manny Smith and Sean Pearson cope with Eifelong from Woking, there isn't that threat of height that he had. So the Torquay attack should fall into our trap from aerial point of view anyway.
And Boreham Wood are a very long ball team, and the two of them were phenomenal in that match as the goal kick goes straight out of play. James Gray retrieves the ball and gets booed by the Wrexham fans. Throw taken to the corner of the box. Masanka nearly gets there ahead of McGinty. They both hesitated, deceived by an awkward bounce. That's a nasty ball on top of Wrexham's defence, which Wrexham deal with in the end. Pearson heading it back to Dibble. It just held up for a second.
Yeah, good communication there as well, because Dibble's sort of unsure whether to come or not, and Sean Pearson having the time to calm him down, send him back and header it back to him.
Long kick by Dibble. Leo Smith backing into Higgins. Higgins heads it in the wrong direction. Masanka edge the area. Lays off nicely to Reid, who pokes it forwards. Can't quite find Masanka. There wasn't much space in there. Higgins is charged down by Leo Smith. Throw level the edge of the area. I've just noticed incredible rarity at this level. We've got a big screen showing the game live across the pitch from us. Well, unfortunately, the camera's pulled out a long way, so you can't actually see anything, just a stand, basically. And also, it's really disorientating because the camera's on the opposite side from us. So you look at the pitch and it seems going one way, and you look at that and it seems to be going the other. There's throw-in's taken. Gray turns well, drives a ball down the line, but Pearson gets tight to him, blocks it out for a throw.
We mentioned that prior to the game. Me and Ollie said, they won't be showing the game surely, but be an interesting point if there's any controversial tackles.
Yeah, it's quite hard to make anything out of it, really, because it's quite the very small figures on that screen as the throw-in's taken, and Keating picks it up and tries to play a ball behind Wrexham's defence, but it's inaccurate. Hurst clears, Gowling chases and pops it back to his keeper. The wind's really got up here since the game started, as Dorrell kicks it and puts it again straight out of play, to a murmur of discontent from the Torquay fans. Throw which Jennings will take just inside the Torquay half, left-hand side. Jennings, very studied drying of the ball on his shirt before he finally steps forwards, throws it into the second hole. Masanka against Higgins. Masanka wins it. It's hooked away from the edge of the area, attacked by Hurst, who heads it into midfield. Leo Smith flicks it on cleverly. Reid took it nicely and tries to turn past his man. Can't quite take the ball with him. Goes through to the keeper. And Dorrell will look long Keating is trying to pull over onto Jennings. Durrell hits it through the middle instead, straight to Wedgbury, who volleys it clear out for a throw. It's a typical lower division fair at the moment, blustery weather, and both sides just clumping it long and trying to press at the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. But the Wrexham front two are using that. You know, they're working hard to try and find the gaps for each other, and not quite coming off yet. But you can see where the threat is.
Yeah, Masanka's no work of art, but to be fair to him, he does create a lot of loose balls. He's awkward, and he started well actually in that respect as Gray gets the ball but lose out, and then Wedgbury and Pearson for a second leave it for each other. Pearson just steps out the way as Wedgbury is decisive and thumps it out of play, throwing the halfway line. Right hand side, Higgins to take. Yeah, Masanka's put himself about quite a lot early on. Higgins with a long throw to the edge of the area. Pearson primes on his man, concedes a free kick on the right hand side. Gray never really got up. Pearson's complaining that Gray was playing for that, but he did make contact, didn't he? I don't think he can really complain. That's a free kick in a dangerous area, about 25 yards out, right-hand side, and Young will be able to rip this in around the penalty spot. Dibble's got a two-man wall lined up on the edge of the box. Reed and Smith, and the referee just paces them back and decides he's happy with where they are, puts his marker down on the pitch to show that. Wrexham just left Masanka up on the halfway line. Dibble on his toes, waits, seeing if he can attack this. Young rips it into the far post. Pearson wins a good header against Cowling. Drops on the edge of the area, and a long-range shot goes over the stand and down the rows behind the stand in amongst the elm trees. It was a hell of an ambitious effort by Higgins.
I'm just glad I parked behind the other stand.
I think you're right there, yeah.
It's someone's car just got hit by a ball.
It was McGinty, I beg your pardon, actually, the big centre-back. And I feel like the message coming from the bench might be know your limitations. He's standing outside the box and he thinks, yeah, I can nail this in the top corner. Turns out he can't. 6 minutes here on Calon FM. It's Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0. Double hits it long. Masanka doesn't get up as high as Dowling, who knocks it away, and it's hit over the top of Wrexham's defence, but too strongly. Throws to Wrexham, level edge area, left-hand side. Pretty equal so far, but then I guess you expect that. Wrexham aren't decided to go out to dominate with flowing football. We grind teams down, really, don't we?
Yeah, well, it's typical start. You expect really the home side are going to come out and try what they can for the first sort of 10-15 minutes, and they're doing that, but very much conference football and knocking it long, hoping something comes off. I think Torquay's best chance so far is going to be from the set pieces. They've got a bit of height in there to work in the box.
Throw in taken, that heel right wins it well. Leo Smith does well to spread to the right hand side, where Hurst early ball forwards. Rutherford on the halfway then, surrounded by Torquay players, gets a lucky ricochet, which allows him to turn. He nutmegs his man and runs in on the diagonal, plays him behind the fence, and Masanka's gone too soon. That was a shame. Also a shame because Leo Smith had found a nice little pocket of space on the far side, so Wrexham had managed to get into position to deliver. He might have been able to attack the danger area.
Yeah, another criticism I make of Masanka at times as a young player. He has the pace to not have to be offside. He can hang back. Just something he's got to work on, again, with his back to the line.
It's impetuous and premature run by Masanka. Concedes a free kick on the edge of the Torquay area. Durrell hits it right-footed down the flank, and Manny Smith wins a good header. Puts it out of play for a throw to Torquay, about 15 yards into Wrexham's half. Left-hand side. It's thrown back to the halfway line. McGinty pops it back to the thrower, Cole, who's immediately closed down well. And poked forwards by Masanka. Reed to Rutherford, who won the ball back initially. He plays it over the top. Gowling will get there first. Clever. Chested down to McGinty. He read the situation and snuffed out the danger. Long ball forwards. Gray wins the header against Manny Smith. Pearson runs it back to Dibble. Just about has the legs to do so. And Dibble walks up with the ball in his hands. Just trying to work out what direction the wind's actually coming from.
Yeah, it's difficult to sort of circulate around the ground a bit. There's no obvious trees anywhere to sort of...
Big kick, very big kick by Dibble. McGinty heads it square. Will it go out for a throw-in to Wrexham? Cole will stop it from doing so. A nice ball down the line by him to Reed, deep in his own half. He helps it on to Luke Young, who plays a tremendous switch to the right-hand side. Now then, Howarth taking on Jennings, cuts inside, feeds it into the edge of the area. Dowling is there. 6 yards out, pulls it back, chance for the shot. It's charged down well by Pearson. Spins for the corner. The Torquay will be satisfied, I think, with the start they're making.
Yeah, that's a great switch ball across. He knocked a lot of players out, a lot of space, and he just space in the box there as well. Should have done better with the shot, but Pearson, great challenge.
They may be struggling, but as often happens, teams down the bottom aren't necessarily turning up and getting hammered every week.
No, and it's don't judge a side until the first 10 games of the season is what we're telling Wrexham fans, so Torquay fans must be told the same, really.
I watched them against Chester last night. They should have hammered Chester. They were so much better than them. Young swings an away swing, a nasty one headed way over though. It was swept in towards penalty spot, and James Gray couldn't control his head. It actually went over the stand in the end as he put his hand to his brow in melodramatic manner to show how disappointed he was with his header. So it'll be a goal kick for Dibble to take. 10th minute here on Calon FM. Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0, and Torquay will be the more happy side, I suspect, with the opening stages. So, Dibble wanders back to take the goal kick. Torquay fans complaining he's wasting time, which is a...
Interesting, Jennings and Pearson having a chat with some of the midfielders about the coverage as well. Nice to see that the communication between the players is there.
Long kick. Gowling gets it cleared. Jennings pokes it forward. Leo Swift does well on the stretch. Oh, and a lovely turn. Beats his man. He's crowded out, but a touch from Higgins puts it behind his defence. Masanka now. Left-hand side by the corner flag. Nice little bit of footwork, trying to just tease a bit of space. Higgins tight to him. He places it to Jennings. Jennings tries to go around the outside. There's not much space there, though. And Howard does well to cover and dispossess. And bad clearance, so right, miscontrols. It's pokes to halfway line. Great tackle by Manny Smith. Chops loose. Wedgbury with a good tackle. And he picks up the loose ball, turns it over to the right-hand side. That's a tremendous ball towards Rutherford. He gets there, swings in the cross, chested down well by Cole. Wow, Wedgbury did ever so well to win it and then rip a ball like that. I think a testimony to how well organised Wrexham are. They knew Rutherford should have been there and played it in as Torquay shout for a free kick, which wasn't a free kick. They felt Gray was pushed by Hurst. Pearson with a good ball to the right. Now Rutherford lowered the edge of the area, taking on goal, goes around the outside of him. Nutmegs him again. And he asks for a foul, and the ref again is right to ignore that call. As Reed on the cover hits a clearance, an ambitious looking ball which is overhit, thrown halfway down to Wrexham. All opened up a couple of times for Rutherford then though, and he couldn't quite manage to capitalise.
Rutherford's done well on there. That slight lack of pace for Rutherford's just done him in of not being able to get it past his man, but you know, he's offering out there wide and he's making the right runs, just needs to deliver across a bit better of a cross, but we know he's capable. He's done it in the last couple of weeks. And he's pulled off 2 nutmegs so far already, which is not bad for the first 12 minutes. Leo Smith's turn here was a peach. Beautiful technique, wasn't it? As Manny Smith fouls Gray. I tell you what, Gray is playing it cutely. He's drawn a couple of fouls, one from each centre-back, as he's just getting tight to them and pushing in. When he feels contact going down, this one's in midfield. Gray goes across and is spoken to by the referee. I thought the referee initially was warning Jennings that he said something. We don't know that. Jennings is only 1 yellow off getting a suspension already. But he spoke to Gray rather than Jennings in the end. Dean Keats is out complaining to the 4th official about the free kick. I think Gray is being cute, but on both occasions I think they probably were free kicks. He did well against the Wrexham centre-back. So free kick in midfield. Wrexham have everyone back defending this. As Young stands it up towards the edge. Manny Smith has the back pedal and Gowling knocks it down. Reed volleys it clear. Masanka on his own in midfield. Can't quite keep the ball. Well tackled by Dowling. And Dowling works it back into his own half. Cole, heavy touch. Masanka gets tight to him, but that hurries Cole and he thrashes it out of play for a throw-in. Yeah, Gray's doing all right actually against the 2 Wrexham centre-backs. I was saying how dominant they've been. I'm a James Gray fan. I think I don't... Off the pitch, yeah, he's had his issues which are well documented, but I thought for Wrexham, yeah, he didn't score a great deal of goals, but he scored a number of goals. He put himself a barrel, always put a shift in. So, yeah, I think if he'd had a full season, he would have got 15 odd, and that would have been perfectly acceptable. And perhaps the culture of the club at the time may or may not have helped him. Yeah, true enough. Wrexham overthrown the halfway line. Jennings to take. Still 0-0 here on Calon FM. 13th minute. Jennings throws down the flank. He's looking for Alex Reed and he gets it well. Around this time's his jump though, and it comes off his knee in the end, ricocheting around 30 yards out from the Torquay box until Dowling does really well. Picks it up and spreads it left. Now Reed, who is dangerous and has been quiet so far, breaks past the halfway and left hand side. Wedgbury comes across, covers well, gets a foot in, throw in to Torquay, 20 yards out from goal, left hand side. Reed wants to take it quickly. Cole, the left back, says no, we'll stick to what we've agreed. And he comes jogging up to take it instead. So, Cole has got Keating offering himself short. He's not interested at first. In the end, he finds the striker. Keating holds her up by the corner flag. And these little drag back to face up to Hurst. Hurst sticks tight to him, though. And Keating's still going. Another little turn, but it's wrestling away in the end. Yeah, Hurst forces an error. Rutherford picks up the loose ball, hits off his man. Oh, a lucky bounce, keeps it in, though. And Keating has got it back.
feeds it back to the corner of the box, chance to cross here. It's nice footwork by Reid, left-footed cross, blocked, comes out to Dowling, the crowd tell him to shoot. He does shoot, and he puts it just wide. Decent effort, that. In fact, don't think they will touch it. It's like a nick off a defender, I think.
Nick off the defender.
It's a corner, but Torquay are having the better of the opening exchanges here, and they've got a corner. Dowling is a good 25 yards out there. The shot deflected wide of the right post, double lunging for it. Didn't go too far wide. Here comes the corner. Young, clever one to the corner of the box. It's Higgins driving to the near post. It's blocked by Wedgbury, and he's done well to get to the loose ball. Finds Masanka. Masanka tries to pass his way out. Reid can't get to it. Dowling plays it to Young. Young down the line. Clever idea. Jennings out as well. Gets across, dispossesses Reid, and wins a throw-in. Well, we're having to work hard early on here to repel Torquay as the rain again suddenly starts to hammer down. Throw which Jennings will take, level the edge of his area. We're not getting maybe the right service to the strikers, trying to give them a chance to run in. Reid's struggled to get involved, doesn't he?
Yeah, we're not getting on the ball at all, really. Wrexham is probably apart from a couple of good balls down to Rutherford, we're not getting in the middle of the park and playing it.
Throw in taken. Leo Smith, great tackle as Dowling rather pulls out of it. Wright's pass to Wedgbury isn't the best, and so Jennings is up there, hurried ball forward. Gowling clears, Wedgbury square to Wright, who gets his head up and sees Hurst, good ball. Finds him in a bit of space, 10 yards short the halfway line. He feeds it over the top, looking for Masanka. McGinty will get there first. Durrell comes off his line and just hurries his centre-back, who might have played a back pass if Durrell had stayed home.
Yeah,
as it is.
Poor communication there. Could have probably got the ball without seeing the throw-in.
Throw level the edge of the area, Hurst to take it. He's got Masanka offering and receiving on the corner of the box. He tries to poke it back to Hurst, inaccurate. Keating intercepts deep in his own half and then receives a poor return ball, which he can't keep in. Throws to Wrexham. 10 yards into Torquay's half right-hand side. It'll be taken by Hurst, who throws towards the corner box. No one's there. Cole hacks it clear. Keating, that's a sloppy ball back, and Dowling, the centre midfielder, does really well to bring it down and plays a teasing ball for greater chase. Pearson gets there first, but he's put under pressure. He spies his own corner flag and only just manages to squeeze her out for a throw in the end. It nearly went for a corner. Dowling in the centre of midfield, rather than Gowling, the centre-back. He looks very composed on the ball, doesn't he? He's using it well.
Yeah, he does when he's got it. When he's got the ball. Unfortunately, Torquay has sort of bypassed him a lot of time. When he does get onto it, he's putting telling balls through into the channel. He
scored the goal against Chester last week. A really nice finish from the edge of the area. So here comes the throw, and they've got two players of long throws, which played short instead. Howard pops up on the left flank, swings the cross in. Gowling gets up, but can only flick it away to the right flank, where it's picked up by Dowling. Dowling digs in across to the far post. Gowling is the target. Well won by Pearson. Rutherford volleys it away. Masanka on his own up front tries to hold it up. Luke Young dispossesses him. Masanka will be disappointed with that. And now Reid is driving forwards, gets down the left side of the box. Good tackle comes in from Akil Wright. Throw in, level the edge of the area, left-hand side. Again, not taken long. Thrown back to midfield to Luke Young. The two Torquay centre mids, Young and Dowling, have started well, better than Wedgbury and Wright have. As Wrexham strikers just pressed and forced Torquay back into their own half, and in the end forced them into a back pass. Durrell on his right foot hits it through the middle. Manny Smith jumps and gets up ahead of Gray, who again backs in looking for the foul. He's found Rutherford in a bit of space on the right. Good early ball. Now then Reid on the right hand side is 2 marked by 2 in the middle. He's closed down by Cole, carries inside himself and dwells on it and is dispossessed. Reid disappointing that. Now here's Keating. He's got 2 men in support, plays it back into midfield instead. Young in the centre circle, dinks the ball over to the left hand side to Reid. Young's breadth of passing has been good. He's offered open Wrexham up. Dowling now tries a diagonal. I know he gets that badly wrong. Thought he was going to hiss Stewart, who was standing on the steps for a moment then. He was back to the game.
Commentator's curse after praising.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Oh, in that case, I'll praise him a bit more. Every little helps. 18th minute here on Calon FM. It's Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0. Torquay have had the better of things so far, though. The game, though, a few chances. Remember, you can contact us on Twitter on #AskWXM, Ask Wrexham. If you've got any questions, it's Jennings now, 10 yards short of the halfway line. He's got the ball in his hands, throws down the line. Reid climbs, comes off the back of Gowling's head. McGinty heads it away. Throw to Wrexham, 10 yards short of the corner flag, left hand side. Jennings will take. Reid and Masanka lurk at the near post. Jennings Just looks around for movement. There isn't much yet. He throws it in towards Leo Smith, headed away comfortably. That wasn't a great routine by Wrexham. It'll roll out and Jennings will have another chance to take a throw about 25 yards out from goal. Left-hand side. Throw taken short, back to Jennings. Jennings on the left. Onto his right foot, swings it in towards Reed. Keeper's coming. Oh, he fumbles it, and he's lucky he's able to get to the loose ball. Well, he went to attack it. Cole, the left back, I don't know what he was doing, really. Cole, he ran across the keeper. He could have headed it clear. The keeper, I assume, gave him a shout. Cole didn't get out of the way. He just didn't bother challenging for the ball, and as a result, the keeper sort of chested it up in the air, if anything, and then was lucky it didn't drop anywhere in Wrexham player. Wrexham go forwards again. Masanka tries to help her onto Rutherford. Right idea, but Cole picks it up. Knocks it over the top. Manny Smith backpedaling does well to get ahead to that. Rutherford on the right-hand side again on the halfway line. Nice footwork to just get away from his man. Wedgbury squares it on. Wright will have to help it on again to Jennings. Jennings, 10 yards short of the halfway line. Drills it onto the second hole, looking for Reed. That's a nice idea. And Gowling, just about flicks it back to his keeper. At first, I think he wanted to head it away, then realised it was going to carry over him and just about got his afro onto it and touched it to the goalie. Durrell, as the sun comes out, hits another poor kick, which Luke Young can only touch on to Wedgbury. Hurst, this is the first spot, Rex on the bit of possession. His first place, a teasing looking ball over the top, just too much on it though. He was looking for Reed, running in behind McGinty, and skipped it through to the keeper instead.
He was hoping the wind was holding that one up.
Yeah. So, well, a couple of balls by Wrexham. This wind, I wonder if anything is behind Wrexham, seems to have just carried through a bit too much. There's the long kick by Durrell is kept in by Gray, but only in terms of stopping it going for a goal kick. It's gone for a throw right by the corner, right hand side. The referee is very, very quick to tell Hurst, the thrower, to get back. Ball in hands, he throws down the line, looking for Masanka, goes beyond him and skips off this wet turf. Cole has a back pedal to control it, but it goes back safely to Gowling. And he drives a long, straight ball. Keating gets up, but Pearson's tight to him and blocks that off. Pearson does well to pick up a loose ball and find Wedgbury. Hurst now on the edge of his area. Onto his right foot. Drives again over the top, looking for Reed. McGinty is there, though. Heads it down. Wrexham chasing after the second ball. And Wedgbury chases too keenly. Fouls Luke Young. Free kick on the edge of the Torquay area. So Wedgbury just kicks it away, and the Torquay fans snitch on him. Referee's not really interested in that. But like I said, we're not really getting things going and getting the ball down in midfield, but I guess we're not really that sort of team. We maybe have to get used to this a little bit. We decided to just try and wear teams down with the balls over the top.
Yeah, perhaps. I just think, that might be the game plan, is going from that full back and launching the big switch, but I think we trouble teams a lot more if we actually got hold of football. You know, when Rutherford's had the football and looked to drive at someone, we've looked more impressive, same as in recent matches when Kelly's done it.
It's a long kick from Durrell, bounces awkwardly over Manny Smith, an odd bounce that, and he has to hook it out for a throw. Right, left-hand side, about 15 yards out. Yeah, it's this is not a side, as we saw in that period I mentioned earlier, which nearly got promoted, but you're going to get the ball down in midfield and dominate. But it's still a work in progress as a long throw comes in. This time to Naples, a lot of distance on that. Pearson gets it away well. Dowling, that's a really good touch edge of the area. Tries to swing it across. Wedgbury does well to block it. Wedgbury's now chasing and trying to stop Howard from getting the ball in, but he plays a clever ball down the right channel. Keating, forced away from goal by Pearson. He's got support in Dowling. He's stuck by the corner flag, tries to cross it himself, and Wedgbury is there in the edge of the 6-yard box to get it clear. Nice touch by Reed. That Masanka's in space in the middle if Reed can see him. Reed holds it up. He can't play it in the end. He works it back to Jennings, who's immediately under pressure. Good composure by Jennings, who then gets a bit lucky as Young charges his pass down. Wrexham clear. It's bobbling around in midfield. Reed gets up, beaten to it by Higgins. Wright helps it onto Smith. Smith, clever, soft feet, just helps it onto Masanka. Hard feet from Masanka, miscontrols, then pulls his man's shirt. Smith has been peripheral, but very nice in the little touches he's had, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, if he does get the ball, he's capable of bringing it down and playing people in. It was a nice play, same as Rutherford. You just don't do it enough. That's, I'm not sure how much time to get the duster out yet and wipe the tactics board clear, but it's, sometimes I think we can adjust it a little bit.
Yeah. We had a message on hashtag Ask Wrexham from Keith Jones. He says, good luck to the Reds from Bacau, Romania. Still on my way back from Moldova. Is he now, or is he now? Oh, sorry. I'm here all week. Great photo he's attached. Have a look on Twitter of that. That's quite something, that is. Ball's played to the edge of the area, and the wind's taking that. Manny Smith wrestling as a talkie man goes down the box. Doesn't ask for the penalty. Wedgbury helps it on. Rutherford does well to hook that on under pressure to the halfway line, where the ball drops loose, but Young is there. Works it over to the right-hand side. Higgins will drive this into the second hole, will he? Yes. Feet it to the feet in the end, and finds Howarth 30 yards out, right-hand side. Poor touch. Runs it off the pitch. There's no great need for that. Rice puts him under a bit of pressure. Not enough to force that. So throw, which Jennings can take, level the edge of the area. Left-hand side. 25th minute here on Calon FM. It's Torquay United 0. Wrexham 0. Throw towards the halfway line. Reed can't make it stick. Young hooks it over the top looking for Keating, who clearly fouls Pearson. Ref doesn't give it. Goes out for a throw to Torquay. Keats and Andy Davis furious, and quite rightly. Pearson won the header. Keating arrived very late. It wasn't a yellow, but it was a foul. He was clattered into him, into his chest. And the linesman's right there. Doesn't give it. So, throw in taken, and Torquay quickly switch it from right to left. It's Reed breaking down the flank, level the edge of the area. Hurst and Rutherford trying to block him off. Cute little ball inside to Gray, whose touch lets him down, and he clearly fouls his man. Wedgbury goes down and makes sure. Wedgbury's done a lot of good work off the ball, hasn't he? He's broken a lot of play up.
Yeah, he has, but I want to see my midfielders on the ball. That's right hand. Wedgbury can't be accused of hiding in a team or not working, because they're both that. But they're both capable on the ball as well. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. You look at the second goal we scored last week, it came from McKeel. Breaking play, given it to Rutherford. Rutherford could drive forward and play that first hand ball.
Dibble knocks it long. Masanka in the air, wins it well. Leo Smith won't get to it though. Higgins away, right in midfield, puts under immediate pressure. Has to go all the way back to Dibble. Sensible that. He was in his own half, in the opposing half, but as goes the keeper, and Dibble hits a good ball forwards towards Reed, who doesn't take it cleanly, I think, as Wright jumps in front of him and obstructed his view. Leo Smith pops it inside. Nice pass. Masanka now holds it up. Real pressure. McGinty's hands all over him. Masanka does well to work it back to Manny Smith on the halfway line. To Hurst. Good body shape. Just opens up and gets past his man. Driving inside now, though, which cuts off the pass to Rutherford. Wedgbury has it. Torquay keep their shape behind the ball. Jennings receives a nice pass from Wedgbury. Nutmegs his man beautifully. Carries it to the edge of the area. Swings across, which takes a deflection. Spins loose. Reed makes it his. Hits a shot on the turn. And it goes wide. First real effort Wrexham have had. And good persistent build-up play by Wrexham.
Yeah, first time we put it on the ground, first time we played it, first time we've looked to spread play, and got a shot off. So apart from those balls down the channel to Leo Smith and Rutherford, that's how you want your midfield to play, is getting on the ball and looking for the support. James Hurst has done well coming forward, as you indicated. Great shape to sell his man out, and that allowed the space then for the switch.
So, goal kick. First signs of promise from Wrexham. Going forwards, really. It's the 27th minute here on Calon FM as Durrell hits it long, and poor touch by Reed. Rutherford thinks it over, looking for Leo Smith. Too much on that, and it skids out of play. Throw to Torquay, just short the halfway line, right hand side. Higgins will take. Higgins throws down the flank. Jennings gets it well, heads it into midfield. Young helps it on, goes beyond Wedgbury. Manny Smith thumps it away. Masanka against McGinty, heads it down. He was lucky, McGinty there, headed it into the chest of Reed, and chasing after it. Cole just about got there to hack it away, or Reed could have rather flukily found himself in on goal then. It was a strange one.
Bit of confusion between the centre half and his left back.
I'm just wondering about this wind, whether it is affecting the game a bit more. A few times you see players look like they've set themselves to head it, and suddenly it's going over them.
It's difficult to read up here. I'm imagine down there as well, because it's like a cauldron. The stands at different heights and probably great in different channels.
Like a cauldron, you're making Plainmoor sound like the San Siro here. Dibble hits it long, left-footed, too much on that. McGinty heads it clear. It'll be picked up by Keating in the centre circle, who turns and decides to go backwards. Young spreads to the left-hand side. Reed pops a sharp ball back to Cole, who digs it forwards now. Looking for Gray, backing into his man. Manny Smith as well to get ahead to that. Akil Wright drills it over the top, looking for the run of Masanka. The trouble is he drilled it. Too much on it. Goes through to the keeper. Yeah, and a few of the kicks, both kickers are getting good distance on it. It doesn't look like it's holding up in any particular direction. But some of the kicks have really carried a hell of a long way. Durrell's kicked it out of his hands directly into the Wrexham box. Dibble has done to the edge of the D. It looks like it's swirling around. That's a big kick by Durrell as well. Pearson does well to win that in the air. And Rice nudges his man. That was unnecessary. There wasn't a huge amount of force, and Dean Keats isn't happy. But this, I think you got to read the referee, and this guy is giving most bits of physical contact. And it's another free kick about 40 yards out, which allows Gowling and McGinty, the centre-backs, to go up to the edge of the area. Young stands on it. I characterise the Torquay crowd as grumpy. They sort of whinge about quite a bit. Wright standing 5 yards off it angered them there. Who swings it in. Nasty deflection. Good hands by Dibble in the end. But Wrexham, firstly, Wedgbury seemed to be taken out off the ball. Then when it was swung in, Jennings seemed to be taken out by Gray, and Jennings is holding his jaw and complains to the linesman. But it ended up ricocheting off Pearson. And Dibble had to be quite sharp to just hold on to that to his right, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been up to the challenge so far, Dibble, in the last games he's had to play. So, yeah, nasty one when you sent halves nudging it to you from 2 yards out.
So, long kick by Dibble, goes at the end all the way through to the keeper, Durrell. And he can wander up again to the edge of his area. But yeah, the home side certainly will be happier with this. Only 2 points so far this season, as I said. One on the opening day of the season against the 9-man Tranmere, and one last Saturday against Chester when they really should have won. Oh, it's a dreadful mistake by Reid. He tried an expansive pass in his own half, and he's found Alex Reid, who feeds it back to Leo Smith. Right, works to the left-hand side. Jennings now. Torquay have managed to get men behind the ball. Jennings right-footed, good ball into the hole where Rice has found a little bit of space. It's read back to Jennings. Jennings got Leo Smith down the line. Smith, 2 men on him. Does well to win the throw-in the end. Throw to Wrexham, level the edge of the box. It was a horrible mistake by Jamie Reid, finding Alex Reid. Just trying to be cute and hit it the outside of his foot, and he clumped it.
Yeah, lucky really. Wrexham didn't make the most of it.
So throw, Jennings will take. Level the edge of the area, left-hand side. Seems to be a fair bit of delay as the referee is talking to Pearson. Pearson, I think, maybe complaining about the foul from the free kick earlier. Anyway, now Jennings can take it. The referee is ready. Jennings looks for movements. Sanker offers, receives, turns and spreads nicely to Hurst, 25 yards out. He cuts it onto his left foot, then his right, spreads to Rutherford, who's got the full-back isolated, level the edge of the area. Comes inside, left-footed cross, too close to the keeper. McGinty heads it away, and Jennings and Wright got each other's way. Hurst is going to hit it, but Dowling makes a terrific tackle on him. Hurst is swinging his foot to nail that, and Dowling made a great tackle. It's driven over the top, and that's a testing one as the ball hangs on the edge of the area. Good header by Manny Smith. The wind affected that, definitely. Rutherford drills it away. Cole takes a touch, drives forwards over the halfway line, and he's carried it a long way here, feeds it into the edge of the area. Gray back to goal, pops it off, spread to the right-hand side, inviting Higgins to attack it, and he can't. It rolls out for a throw to Wrexham. But the game just got stretched for a moment, and there was danger at either end.
Hurst has felt that one. You can see him sort of limbering back into his position, and he's not happy with it the way he's sort of stretching it.
It was a hell of a good tackle, wasn't it?
It's one of those perfectly timed when both players hit the ball at the same time, and force of gravity and nature comes.
I burst the football in the yard when I was in school doing that. It was me and Nashi, if anyone wants to be recording these things. Throw-in taken. Akil Rice wins the header, puts it over the top, and it's cleared all the way through to Dibble. Dibble invites James Gray to come to him. Before... now, there's a Wrexham player down, Hurst, So that challenge has had an effect on him. He gets to his feet the moment the physio's given permission to come on. And immediately Wrexham players come over to the bench for some instruction. Michael Oates got his notepad out. It's a strange situation, this, because the game stopped. Both sides have gone over to the benches, but Hurst on his feet, so he's going to have to walk off the pitch to get treated, so there's no real reason for the game to be stopped. In fact, Hurst is pretty much the only player left on the pitch now. It's rather peculiar. Hurst, in fact, is it because he is going to have to come off? There's no treatment of him at all at the moment.
I suppose at least you've got Kevin Roberts as ready, or Carrington as a ready-made replacement.
He's limping heavily, but Roberts is coming back now, and he is taking his bib off, so it's 3 games in a row now, is it, that Wrexham have been forced to make a first-half change because of injury? Maybe 4, actually. Yeah. We lost McCrath, we lost Leo Smith or the second half, Kelly, and now we've lost James Hurst, and that's a real shame. I've been maybe in the minority. I was quite impressed with Kevin Roberts, actually. defensively at least.
Yeah, I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think James Hurst has done well.
Yeah.
Since he's got into the side.
Yeah.
And deserves to keep his place, but it's nice to have that option.
As my team sheet flies off, but luckily the magnetic personality of Ollie Williams attracts it, and it stayed there till I could grab hold of it. It's a enforced substitution then for Wrexham. I say Roberts has defended well, I think, but Hurst breaks forwards a bit more effectively. He's a bit more direct, gets the ball forwards quicker. But let's see what Roberts can do then. As James Gray goes the ball back to Dibble.
Dean Keats hasn't had to make a forced substitution in so far.
That's true. Holroyd went off first game, didn't he? Maidenhead, I don't think he did.
Yeah, possibly. So Maidstone, obviously, there's 2 sent off, so there's changes
Yeah,
to be made.
yeah. That's true. Dibble launches it long down the left-hand side. Reed beaten to it by Dowling in midfield. It's Wedgbury doing well to get a foot. He's fighting away, but he's outnumbered and losing the end. And Gray flicks it wide, and Roberts' first contact is a really good, aggressive challenge. Knocks it long. Masanka wins it in the air, but the second ball is cleared. Pearson now under pressure, left-footed, hoists it down the flank. Leo Smith takes it on the chest. That's a good touch. And a nice ball inside to Jennings. He clips it over the top. Reed's chasing. Gowling will get there first. Has to put it over the stand. And it's the big stand, so it's a fair achievement. Throw into Wrexham, level edge of the area, left-hand side. The halves are evened out the last 10 minutes or so. It's still not been pretty, and you still wouldn't feel Wrexham are imposing themselves, but it's just evened out a little bit. As Jennings will take it, another throw-in as a gust of wind picks up. Jennings looks for movements. Reed is offering on the edge of the area, brings it down neatly, works it back into midfield. Wedgbury's got options to his right, and Roberts can help it down the line to Rutherford, and does so. Rutherford now, as Cole comes out to meet him, swings an early cross, but it hits Cole, spins in the air. Roberts is nudged in the back on the edge of the area. It would be a very soft penalty. The Wrexham fans were asking for it, the players weren't really. Manny Smith, and the ball's cleared, helps it on. Akil Wright does too. Masanka holds it up. He's unlucky that there's nobody to his right, because Rutherford went back to cover Roberts. Wedgbury, poor pass when he tries to find Rutherford. And now maybe Torquay can break. Dowling, nice footwork. Skips beyond Wedgbury. Spreads it to Young as Wrexham get their shape back swiftly and stop the ball getting forwards too quickly. It's knocked towards the edge of Wrexham's area, and an offside flag against James Gray helps us out. As Phil Cooper on Ask Wrexham asks, what would you say we have a game plan? And if so, what is it?
I think our game plan is literally as early balls into the channel and using the pace of the front two up front to get down there, switching play from full-back to wing and getting the crosses in. Yeah. Don't think we're actually doing that today, but I think that's what they're trying to do out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the way we are playing this season. It's similar in a lot of ways to the first half against Bromley, frankly. Grinding a team down. It's not similar in the sense that Bromley sat in a lot deeper, but certainly we're not creating much. You get that one goal and it opens things up and teams push on, and you can run in behind as Dibble hits the long kick and Attacker won the header but puts it straight out of play.
I think Dean Keats' philosophy is to get the width from the full-backs pushing up when he can.
I think he's pinned back a bit too much, haven't we, as well? Keating squanders a great chance to play a dangerous ball to Jamie Reed. Roberts back to Dibble, who clears to the halfway line. Cole heads it back into midfield. Roberts calls it off as to shield his eyes from the sun, and he's caught in possession. Now then, Dowling, that's a great touch to break into the box. Left-hand side, Manny Smith gets across. That's good work by Smith and Wedgbury. They tracked him well, ran him off the pitch after Roberts, who was troubled a moment earlier with the sun in his eyes, smacked the ball against Dowling. He did so well to bring the spinning ball down as it dropped in front of him.
Yeah, Roberts didn't really make a mistake there. He's just clearing it. There's great play by Dowling to run onto it, and Wedgbury then, one of those positions where he runs into the box and you just fear the challenge coming in because you know what's going to give him, but stays strong, stays up on his feet and sees the ball out Armstead.
Yeah, you're right. They're just the danger then of impetuous challenge might ask the referees to give a decision, but they both did well. Barton Bank says, if I burst the ball with Nashi at school, he's probably gummy now. But that was a heck of a challenge. I remember it well. I'm sure there's a statue to that burst ball somewhere. And that great feat of strength. Throw in taken. Jennings heads it out of play. It was the irresistible force meets the immovable object. Naturally, I was the immovable object. Throw in taken. Gray by the corner flag takes on and beats Pearson. Now then, he cuts into the box, tries to step over. Oh, Jennings has a great tackle. James Gray tried a bit of Cristiano Ronaldo, lollipopped it, stepped over it, and Jennings went to ground and won it. And then he hits a long diagonal, looking for Rutherford, which hangs in the wind. But two Torquay men go for the same ball in the air. Drops to Masanka. Dowling does well to claim it back. And then Scrapping away, Jamie Reid forces a bit further away, but Kevin Roberts has it. Squares it to Wedgbury in midfield. He's lost it. And now here's Luke Young. Good tackle by Akil right now. Masanka can play Rutherford down the right. Oh, he's played it in behind him. That was a real opportunity. Rutherford's played a good ball on the overlap for Roberts, who drills in across, takes a deflection, wins a corner. But firstly, Masanka should have played a better ball then, and Rutherford would have been round the back.
Yeah, ball controlled by Masanka in the first place. We got lucky, got it back. Then Masanka plays it just behind Rutherford. But saying about Roberts being more defensive, I completely agree. But if you look for his Halifax career, his assists were phenomenal for a fullback. And he has started to come forward a little bit in this. There's a bit more room on that right-hand side than there was on his left-hand side.
I wonder if he's been instructed to do that.
Possibly, yeah.
It's a corner anyway. Now, like I said, scouted Torquay, they do not defend corners all that well, and the keeper looks to come out into the crowds and doesn't do it confidently. Wrexham have been good from corners this season, so does 2 + 2 = 4. Jennings steps up, swings it into the crowded 6-yard box, keeper punches it into the ground, and it's hacked away. Well, I hate to say I told you so, but that was poor goalkeeping, and he's lucky to get away with that.
The keeper's made a hash of it, and he's lucky he got belt to a red shirt.
He attacked it with both fists and punched it downwards towards his feet. It span up, and fortunate to that for Torquay, it was hooked away. Wrexham can work corners, and Tanya, I feel they're going to get chances in this game.
Well, I'm sure, like I said, he's in the scouting, and we know where Dean and his team are meticulous in their planning, so I'm sure they identified the same weakness.
Well, I know they have, actually. Throwing down the line, Reid jumps, it drops loose, and Gowling has to stretch round Higgins to put out a play, and has injured his fullback. That was odd. Higgins got there ahead of Gowling, and then just stood there and allowed Gowling to stretch around him and kick it clear, and in a follow-through, he took his fullback out.
A couple of times Torquay players don't seem to communicate with each other.
He's up and limping, and there he's stretching Higgins now, and as you can see the corner, yes, he has. Has he? Yeah, well, throwing. Just about kept it in, that's a shame. I want to see more corners after that last one. Jennings goes across to take the throw. He's got Smith and Masanka in the near post ready to split an offer, because he hasn't got the long throw on him, really. Wright lurks by the corner flag. Reid on his toes in the 6-yard box, hoping for a touch on. He's going to put it towards those two players. Must beyond both of them. Gowling with an authoritative header clear. Wright does well to block off Young and allow Pearson to get there, but his touch isn't the best, so it's cleared. And Gray is grabbing hold of Manny Smith. Referee quite rightly gives it Wrexham's way. And Keats is livid at the linesman. That happens 2 yards away from the linesman. Blatant foul. I mean, the striker turned his back on the ball, just grabbed hold of Smith and ran. And the linesman didn't give it, astonishingly. The Torquay fans are complaining about where Jennings is going to take the free kick from. Linesman's not helping, of course.
No, Jennings asked him. The linesman says yes, so Jennings rightly plays it where it is.
Linesman is purely ornamental. He's like a Sabutio linesman, isn't he? Jennings steps up, left-footed, clips it towards the edge. Keeper's coming for this. It's a long way out. Oh, he's done well there. Great take. I've got to say, Durrell looks really uncomfortable from corners, but Chester, when they were knocking it into the box long, he's decent coming out and claiming balls like that. Straight balls from the middle, he judges well. Corners, when people are on him, blocking him off, he doesn't. Ball swung to midfield. The keel rider goes beyond him, taken well on the chest by Howarth. Howarth spins straight into the path of Jennings, makes Smith makes a good tackle. Cleared to the edge of Wrexham's area. Pearson, good header. Wins it, finds Smith, who turns it all inside to Wedgbury, and he helps on nicely to Rutherford, still in his own half, but things are opening up a little bit here. Rutherford down the line to Masanka. Rutherford's gone beyond him. Excellent tackle by McGinsey, though. Slides in, puts it out for a throw-in to Wrexham, 10 yards short into the Torquay half. Right-hand side. Alex Taylor asking, how far away is the over-exuberant Torquay fan? He's almost like a third commentator.
One row back, 2 seats to the left.
That's about it. Jennings has it now. Feeds it back to Pearson, and he turns it down the left-hand side. That's the sort of ball Wrexham want to play, and the flag goes up against Reid. That must have been a very tight call. That's the sort of service Wrexham want to be trying to drop in to the strikers, isn't it?
Yeah, Reid's been quiet for Wrexham, really. He's not had a great deal of the ball. Masanka's seen a lot more of it.
Somebody on hashtag Ask Wrexham with an unpronounceable name. No, I'm not going to try that, just in case when I say it out loud I regret it. Is asking, how do you think we'll score? I thought it was in set pieces. And if we score, I think the first goal will settle it. I'm sort of seeing it similar to the Bromley game. I feel if we got the first goal, that's going to force Torquay to push on more. We're going to be able to turn them more. I agree. I think that would be a big advantage. Ball played long. Pearson wins it well. Comes off Leo Smith. Akio Wright picks up. Good work. Burst past his man. Gets the halfway and Rutherford's asking for it and receives it. Taking on Cole. The pass is under hit a little. Rutherford plays nice ball towards the edge of the area. Masanka down the right channel. Cuts back onto his left foot. Oh, look, he loses his balance. And that lets McGinty take the ball from him and drill to the halfway line, where it's held up by Keating till Manny Smith tackles him well. He tripped Smith, ref didn't give it, and Wrexham done well to come out with the ball. He's Wedgbury, Torquay still looking stretched. Rutherford, chance to cross, swings it in towards Alex Reid. Oh, he's headed it away, and Leo Smith was beyond him. Did he need to give him a shout? He's headed it wide from 6 yards out. Reid was always stretching. Should Smith have called him off?
Yeah, should have done. Whether Reid said heard the call or not, but Smith's coming in from the back post, a bit like the goal in Portugal, where it's sort of both with the defender there, and he's going to head a straight at goal. Was Reid's always stretching, and it's just a bit beyond him, and that's why he puts it wide. But great work by Akio right there, breaking up play and running forward.
It was it's got to be said as well whether Reid would heed that call, because we saw last Saturday. Well, I'm not saying strikers shouldn't be selfish, but he certainly is.
Yeah, all great strikers are selfish in some way. You know, that's why they take their chances, they score the goals. But sometimes you've just got to listen. But Leo Smith, young lad, maybe he's heard him going, I've got a chance of getting a strike off. I will do.
Higgins drives it over the top of Jennings. That's a testing ball. Howarth is there. Jennings, excellent strength, goes shoulder to shoulder. Howarth's bigger than him, but Jennings is strong and holds it off, and it goes behind for the goal kick. The conditions haven't helped this game out there. They really are blustery, and Wrexham have to hope that maybe the wind will help them a bit going the other direction. I'm not saying it's blowing in one direction, but just in terms of dropping it in behind, that's something they've not been able to do consistently. Dibble will take the goal kick, left-footed. Hits it through the middle as the fourth official holds up the boards to say how long's added on. 1 minute. Leo Smith struggling, can't keep it in the end. Throw into Torquay, 5 yards short of the halfway line, right-hand side. Will be Higgins going up to take. Higgins throws it down the line, looking for Keating. Jennings jumps, wins a good header. Drops in midfield. Oh, Wright's won a good header there. Finds Reid. Reid underhits the ball, but finds Wedgbury, and Wedgbury running in the middle of the pitch. Rather ran into trouble there. He's done well to find Jennings, who hits it towards the edge of the area. Gowling under pressure, heads out wide towards the flank. Leo Smith gets there first. Can't keep the ball. Higgins squares it. Young drives a diagonal, which Rutherford is interested in, but it carries through to Jamie Reid. He knocks it back, and Cole drives it over the top. Manny Smith, good head. He's taken out there, Manny Smith. Referee gives nothing. Well, he's given it eventually when Torquay tried to attack. Manny Smith has not got up yet. That was a Keating. I mean, about James Gray, beg your pardon. I mean, there's a poor challenge by Gray. Again, he's more interested in hitting the man than playing the ball. Yeah. Smith's in the air looking to head it, and Gray has just run straight at Smith and clattered into his bottom half. Smith is getting up. I mean,
and knocks Smith sideways, then full full height onto his side. So it's going to one of those ones that's going to win you. Hopefully, nothing more. But yeah, James Gray's being cute about them, and the referee's not really giving on. He didn't look interested then. Yeah,
I mean, I'm going to say it is dangerous play. He's done it a few times. He's playing the man, not the ball. You hit somebody when they're in the air, you could damage them because they can't control their fall. And referee, it's against naive refereeing sometimes. You wonder if they've played or not. Dibble hits it long towards the edge of the area. That's not accurate. And Gowling heads it away. It's headed the square more than the distance, and Higgins has to launch it away deep into Wrexham's half, and the referee decides he's had enough of that. The half-time score is Torquay United 1, Wrexham 1 here on Calon FM.
I'm Chris Holroyd, follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
So it's quite grim, really, wasn't it, James? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's not what you want after a 4.5 hour drive.
Exactly. Andrew Pollard on hashtag Ask Wrexham. If you want to throw any questions at us at half time or during the second half, please do so. Andrew Pollard, I can't oblige you with the first part of this, but I can with the second. He said, it sounds a bit windy there, chaps. Yep. Yes, I've put extra buffers on our microphones to try and improve matters in terms of sound quality, but quite frankly, it's really blown a gale through the stand. I used a bit of knowledge of the conditions for the first time this season. I brought a sweater. because I know this stand is cold and it's like a wind tunnel, this stand, and it is blowing along. But he said, grab a bovril and a pie at half-time to keep you warm. Oh, no, we love you guys too much. We're going to stay here and work through the 15 minutes.
I did try a burger pre-game, though. That's any good. Cheers.
Well, he does say, also, a pie report is always appreciated. Well, if you give a burger report, I can give a pie report, so I got one before the match myself.
Burger report, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Yeah, they did have the big boy burger, which was a burger, sausage, cheese and bacon.
Wow.
So I did go for that one at £6. It was, I went for the 3. Just standard cheeseburger.
I saw they had a belly buster burger as well. I don't know what that was.
The big boy might be the belly buster. I'm not sure on the name. But.
And I think they also had a Noah's Ark burger, which was 2 of every animal. I'm not sure about that.
I would have tried that one.
And my pie report. Steak and ale, I has. I'm going to say 8. It was good. Okay. It was decent. It said local pies on the front, which as long as you're not in legal. Gentleman is a good sign, and it did taste like it wasn't something that had been half cooked, frozen solid, and sent to them 7 years ago. It was decent. So.
Less reluctant to take every shot.
I mean, the issue, I suppose, which sparked the debate over Reid was last week when he really should have laid off Bowden. Reid had nothing going on. Bowden was in a lot of space with a chance to hit it from the edge of the area, and Reid should have got his head up and played it. But you can't knock him too much. I mean, looking back at the original question from Andy, which was, would you rather have a selfish striker who potentially scores 20 or a hard worker who scores 8? Well, I'd be selfish and say I want both. They think about teams like when we got promoted 92, 93. Yeah. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. The line I'm going along is Gary Bennett and Steve Watkin. Yeah. Which that partnership developed into the point where Watkin actually did get about 8 a season, but was working his guts out for Bennett, who actually was scoring more like 40 a season. Although I'm wrong to point that first season together, because people forget, actually, in that promotion season, Watkin scored more than Bennett, maybe surprisingly. That partnership developed more into Watkin doing so much hard work for him. But no, that sort of combination can work very well. And
I think Bowden can be that type of player. He's certainly got the intelligence and the first touch. Yeah. And I think it's talky, quite bitty at the back, and the communication's not been there. I think if someone actually gets the ball to feet, holds it, and allows those runs for the wide men, or for Reid to run off, or Masanga to run off, whoever he chooses to bring on, then I think we'd benefit. When you saw it when Akil Wright broke the play down in the field and drove forward, Torquay backed off. He didn't know really how to cope with that. Whereas they're quite comfortable coping with what we were throwing them down the channels.
I think as well, what you were saying earlier about possible substitutions and Bowden coming on and who would come off. Yeah, because Masanga really is doing to an extent, what he's been sent on to do. Yeah. He's created a lot of loose balls. He's trying to run in behind. he hasn't had total success, but he has been scrapping away quite well, occupying the centre-backs. But Bolton has done well the last 2 games. He's come off the bench. His best performance, I think, really was at Boreham Woods on the Monday when he came on. And put in an excellent half-hour stint. It was very impressive. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how he could go. But yeah, to be fair, Masanka has done a decent job. You know? Yeah,
I think we haven't had a lot of chances up front, really, have we? The sort of my criticism first few games is not creating anything or doing a great deal in the 18-yard box. We've almost reverted back to that, whereas in previous games we have created chances. We've only had the one corner, you picked it, and we looked dangerous. And really the only sort of one drive in there, and that was the Alex, and the cross was the Alex Reid header wide, which really should have let Leo Smith have, because he was never favourite to get a shot away on target. Yeah, second half. Torquay are there for us to get 3 points off, but it's going to be one of those sort of war of attrition. Do you get that first goal, which allows us then to push on because Torquay can matters, or to Torquay sit like a lot of these conference teams, and then in the last 20 minutes they push, trying to get that against the run and play goal.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we were saying earlier as well, that in response to one of the questions on Twitter, that if we get a first goal, it opens them up even more, perhaps. But they've been, I think that they'll push on. They've done well in the first half and have had maybe slightly more of the game than us. And I think the first goal's absolutely massive in this game. Barton Bank warns me, be careful about wanting refs to have played the game. Remember Maidstone. Well, I've been having a lot of expensive therapies trying to forget Maidstone, so I'm totally glad. And that's been brought up, in all honesty. That was a spectacular officiating performance. The referee so far has been all right, in the extent I've not had to say his name, Simon Barrow. I'm sure he's refed us already this season, I think. Simon Barrow. But thus far, he's been a bit trigger happy when it comes to physical contact in the favour of the strikers.
I mean, it's frustrating when referees do give poor calls, but we're at the standard where we are, where the referees are being tried to go up to a higher level, or on the way down to either a low level or have found a level. Same as the players are. The players aren't going to be perfect, and we sometimes expect. I don't think you're given that presentation on Premiership football on TV so readily. You expect those standards from perhaps lower down, and the referee is going. It's going to be frustrating over a season, and yes, as proved right, the red card was wrong and rightfully rescinded, but it's the same for both teams. And I think we can get sometimes stuck into the referee a little too much and take away from maybe our players aren't doing what they should be out there.
Well, but where's the fun if you're not getting stuck into referees?
There's no harm in having a default setting of let's bash the referee for a bit.
But we can't blame the refs, we have to look at ourselves.
I just think sometimes we can get into that sort of pattern of it's because of the referee. And today, rightfully, like you said, we haven't really had to mention the referee, but rightfully today we're not just at the races quite. Something not just quite clicking. I think Kelly would have been a better player on the pitch today if we'd had him, because he gets the ball down and maybe have a little bit more time and space, although he hasn't done great since he's been there. But Creth with his pace down the wing, we haven't had the opportunity to see that yet. I still think we're a 4-3-3 side trying to pretend to be a 4-4-2. And that's, we've got a squad that fits 4-3-3 in my eyes perfectly.
Ooh. Well, go on. What would you do? How would you refigure this to be 4-3-3? Well, can I just say before you do that, the reason I said that is this the referee I've got before. This guy's called Simon Barrow. Now, the referee at Maidenhead, I understand, is Scott Barrow. So either there's been a mistake made on one of the team sheets in our away games, or there's two Barrows. So
technically there's three Barrows.
I think it's the same. Looks like the same Barrow. So the second Barrow is a Barrow AFC.
Yeah.
The same referee it is. So I think it was all right at Maidenhead, if I remember correctly. Don't think it was anything I can point my finger at with him.
Oh, he won. So, he was down south and we won. So hopefully it's more of the same.
Let's hope so. He's got good form. Excellent. Right then, 4-3-3. How do you configure it?
4-3-3. I think the back four stands there as it is. I don't think there's any need to change. Robertson, Hurst, you can argue amongst yourselves, I suppose, a little bit. Both offer something slightly different. I don't think we've seen the best of Roberts offensively yet. Looking at his record for Halifax and the assist he's got, so he's obviously capable of pushing forward and offering some supply. For me, midfield, I think Wright and Wedgbury are there. Wright's your break-up play, drive forward type player. Wedgbury sits, and I'd have put Kelly in there. He's protected by the two flanking him. Up front, I think probably go Musanka on current form as your main man, with Reid and Holroyd out wide coming in and interchanging, very much like the Danny Wright sort of morale combination. No one's really that main striker. They can all interchange. Failing that, Bowden's your target man with Reid and Holroyd. I think he would allow those two wide players to fit in and also be able to drop down into midfield and support. But what do I know?
No, it does. Sounds good to me. And I mean, there is an issue, I think, with Wrexham at the moment, in that, like I said, in pre-match, I think look good when we don't have the ball. And although this has been a tougher game, I'd still stand by that. We generally have defended well. I mean, what chances have Torquay made really in this match? A shot from outside the box has deflected wide, and a free kick into the box that deflects off Pearson, and Dibble catches a sharpish save, but you would expect him to save it.
Yeah,
so there's nothing really they've created.
Yeah, we said sort of in commentary that set pieces would be where they'll tell the difference, because they've got a couple of big players, Calon, Howarth, a few others that have got a bit of height. I don't think we're not a small side, luckily, for the first time in a few years, so we can cope with that. But they have got at least a few weapons to aim at, who aren't going to be there on their normal attack. And as you said, their front line doesn't really offer a height challenge. James Gray just wanted to take the player rather than the ball. But yeah, a free kick situation or a corner at set pieces allows them to push those players forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you can also argue 4-4-2 is the formation that gives you the best coverage on the pitch when you've lost the ball. So you've got double cover all across the pitch. It's hard to break down. Maybe that's part of us being strong. So that might be an argument for sticking with 4-4-2. But then the other side, as I said, we still look a work in progress when we've got the ball. And again, here today, I mean, we've not created either. But the general pattern has been we don't necessarily create early on in matches. We maybe grind teams down a bit. And we don't create at all much in matches, even when we're winning.
Yeah.
So, in that sense,
you could put Rutherford or McCracken in that front three and still get the same sort of flexibility of shape, perhaps. But I just think if you're going to play a player like Kelly or Leo Smith, they need a little bit of support around them to get them on the ball and push forward in that middle. Generally, you're right. If 4-4-2 does give you that coverage, and you're relying on that front three, then those two wide players to work back and help give you shape. But I just think we're missing something. I think he just said he wants to play with width and get the ball in, but we don't seem to do it. So he's obviously coaching that, but we're not performing that. Yeah. So there's some communication or something's not quite right, because we don't get it wide particularly, and if we do get it wide, we don't generally deliver crosses.
I mean, the elephant in the room when you consider how Wrexham are setting themselves up is that we didn't get our main striking target, and then our second main striking target, who not so long ago was playing against us here. If we're going to play with that width and we have a big target in the box to drive it in for, we have more threats. I mean, admittedly, Alex Reid, I think, is very good at attacking crosses.
Yep.
And he's very effective at that. But having said that, he's not the big, strong target man that I think we initially were looking to configure ourselves around.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's a... I don't mean this disrespectfully, but he's a wiser version of Musanka in some way. Yeah. Because he's played at that lower league conference, lower in the conference, he's used to being what you've got to do, the fight you've got to put in with the centre halves and the midfield, what type of balls you can get. Whereas Musanka, who's played at sort of Premiership youth level and won't have had that, he's a bit more wise onto it, and switched onto it. So this is why you can see he makes those runs and gets up and challenges a little bit more than Musanka does. But essentially, they're very similar sort of players.
Yes, indeed. Well, the teams are back out. There are no changes, and they're about to get underway for the second half here on Calon FM.
I'm Marcus Kelly. Follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
Referee's ready. The ref, by the way, I had a sneaky look. He refed us twice last season, when we won 1-0 at Boreham Wood, but also when we lost at Southport. So
he's got a great record when we've played teams down south.
Yes, exactly. And he doesn't like coming to Wales, it would appear.
Yep.
Well,
I'll take that if he doesn't want to referee us at home.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought you said don't pick on the referees, and now here you are. Well, scoring points off the poor fella.
I'm praising him. I'm hoping his record continues.
he's shown a bit of pre-half charity to Torquay, because McGinty has only just come out. The teams have been standing ready to kick off for about 30 seconds. And for some reason, he's waited and allowed him to come on. He should have just said start with 10 men, shouldn't he, really? Now, at last week, do get underway, and Torquay moved the ball around at the back. Let's see how the blustery wind affects things now. McGinty locks it long. Pearson heads it into midfield. Akeel Wright beaten to it. Good scrapping by Wedgbury for the second ball, but he heads it rather up in the air. Lucky he found Wright, who immediately launches a long hook over his shoulder, straight out of play on the halfway line. It'll be taken by Higgins, who has Young offering and receiving the ball. He turns it over his shoulder. Wedgbury heads it clear towards the halfway line. Masanka, awkward bouncer, skips beyond him as he's trying to back in. And it's cleared into midfield. Wedgbury seems to be fouled in the air by Keating, nothing given. And Rutherford does well to get it back to Roberts, who launches it over the top. Masanka can't challenge McGinty for it, and Dowling is first at a loose ball. Cute ball out to the flank as well. But Jamie Reid as well, tackled by Kevin Roberts. Ian Keats thought it was a Wrexham throw, not given. And it's Reid, Jamie Reid, limping rather heavily. Roberts just came around the back and clipped his left thigh as he won that ball. Throw which Cole will take. Throws it down the flank again. Keating roughing up Roberts, squares it inside. Dowling works it back to the halfway line. Dowling gets a free kick again. The referee, it's strange, he allows a lot of physical stuff in terms of barging and pulling. Keating, I thought, was on the fringes of legality with this challenge. When he knocked it in, Dowling sort of coming together with Wedgbury off the ball, didn't look too serious, but it's another free kick in midfield. Yeah,
he also sort of, it's a late call as well to a certain extent, because he lets play go on for a few seconds and then brings it back. I'm not criticising referees, I just discussed it.
Oh, come on. Let's mock him. Young with the free kick in midfield. Wrexham hold the line on the edge of the area. Young whips it in towards the penalty spot. Nasty ball in, it goes behind for the goal kick. Flag was up anyway for offside. But that was a horrible delivery, that. It just cleared the defensive line. Dibble wanted to come for it, but he couldn't fully commit because there was a danger somebody could get a touch on it. Torquay player did wave a foot at it, and then it just skipped all the way through. I don't think Dibble was in complete control of that situation as it passed his post, but...
Yeah. Brilliant ball, one of those ones the goalkeepers hate. Like I said, you can't commit either way to it, and you just have to watch it harmlessly bounce.
Luke Young's 3 seasons ago scored a brilliant long-range winner at that end against Wrexham, and he puts a beautiful ball in the box there, but Wrexham got away with it. The flag did go up for offside, as I said. Reid wins Dibble's free kick well. Wedgbury spreads to the right-hand side. Roberts has Rutherford ahead of him. Rutherford picks it up. Roberts drops off rather than go beyond. Wedgbury turns it over the top, but Masanka had backed into his man, so McGinty gets there first, but he scuffs it out of play. Throw to Wrexham. Level edge of the area, right-hand side. Can Wrexham pick up the pace as they did after half-time last Saturday? Throw to Masanka. Back to Roberts, who controls it well. Down the line. Good foot in by Jamie Reid. Throw to Wrexham, 25 yards out, left-hand side. Ross with the ball in his hands. Masanka offers in the corner of the box, and good foot in, but Rutherford gets a good tackle in too. Jamie Reid hooks it clear. Good clearance. Well brought down by Keating. Poor touch then by him. And Manny Smith gets a partly up again. I thought Manny Smith was fouled by Keating. Nothing given. As Young again, his passing's been exemplary. Spreads it nicely to the right, and Higgins on the stretch manages to stab it on to Howarth on the right flank. He's run out of play. Second time he's done that. He's a big, sort of muscle-bound sort of wide player, isn't he? And a couple of times now he just gets the ball, runs straight in a straight line.
Yeah, he's a strange-looking player for a winger. He's more of that sort of beanpole striker look, but
he's very, very right-footed. I've seen him last weekend. If he comes inside, he immediately looks unhappy. He's a very straight-line player. Throwing down the line, Reid jumps but can't win it. Gowling clears, and he's found Keating. A chest off nicely to Gray. Tries to play a return ball. Gets it wrong. Jennings rather slashes it up in the air and turns away in disappointment. Akeel Wright's done well to bring that down and hold off his man and spread it to Rutherford, halfway line, right-hand side. First touch brings him inside. Masanka offers and receives it down the line. Back to the halfway line. Wedgbury over the top. That's really well worked. Wedgbury's found Rutherford on the right. Masanka's marked inside. Rutherford finds him. Can he hit it? Oh, he pulls across instead and it's blocked. It bounced awkwardly from Masanka, to be fair. If it had sat up, he'd have hit it. But it bounced high, didn't it? And he had to hook it on instead.
Yeah, he's unlucky there. Great play by Wright. Great play by Rutherford. And Masanka followed the run nicely.
Really well worked little triangle that by Wrexham. That's better. Throw in taken. Masanka is knocked off the ball by McGinty. Cole clouts it away to the halfway line. Manny Smith backpedaling. Keating gets up and heads it in the wrong direction and out of play for a throw to Wrexham on the halfway line. Yeah, but that was the best move of the half by Wrexham so far, certainly. Just couldn't get off the shot.
Nice to see us playing triangles.
Throw in taken. And Masanka helps it on. It hits Cole and Masanka nearly stops him from clearing it, but Cole gets it away long again, and Pearson, poor header, puts Jennings in trouble. Keating beats him to the ball, works out to the right-hand side. Howarth now, on his right foot, drives in a cross, poor cross. Wedgbury intercepts on the edge of the area and drives forwards well. Gets past his man now then. Wrexham is shouting for it over the top. Wedgbury carries on, beats Gowling, helps her on to Reid. I think the ball over the top was the right option. Wedgbury gets it back, feeds it in again. Now and Neil Smith runs around the back as Wedgbury's taken out of the ball. Good cross towards Rutherford. Keeper takes it though. Well, Torquay had a suicidally high defensive line then. Oh, it's a sloppy ball out from the back by Torquay. Luckily for them, Wright miscontrols, and now Jamie Rees is driving down the left-hand side. Roberts tries to show around the outside, 20 yards out. Reid comes inside, feeds a sloppy ball. That's poor. Straight to Jennings, and he helps her on. The game's so stretched now. Neil Smith keeping his own half, but it's stretched. Can he deliver to the strikers? Reid makes a nice run. Smith goes back to Jennings. I think Leo Smith thought, let's calm this down now. Jennings drills over the top, looking for Masanka. Gowling is there first, volleys it out of play. But when Torquay stepped up, there was a chance to play Reid in on goal. Wedgbury maybe was worried he'd have gone offside, but he timed it right, hadn't he?
I think Reid had timed was there, but Wedgbury wasn't know that on the right-hand side here, Cole had stayed back. There's another 10 yards to run into, so it looked like Reid was offside, but he wasn't. Reid was actually well onside and playing it well, but you could see why Wedgbury didn't play the ball. But it's nice to Wrexham to see him driving from midfield.
Looking more threatening so far. Wrexham throw in, taken. Reid turns beautifully, corner of the box, swings across it. Masanka just beaten to it. Cole gets his head to it on the edge of the area. It's won by Roberts though. Finds Rutherford right hand side. Good return ball. Roberts in space on the right side of the box. Feeds it in the goal mouth. Gowling puts it behind for a corner. Much more threatening this, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is about getting the ball on the floor and playing it and driving with midfield to scores.
Corner right hand side. The Wrexham fans making some really good noise. Torquay had marginally the better of the first half. A low quality first half, in all honesty. Wrexham trying to drive on here. Jennings will take the corner. Like I said, Durrell, the keeper, is vulnerable from corners. Torquay go man-to-man from corners. It allows you to drag them where you want them to go, really. Two men on the keeper, blocking him off. It swings to the edge. Jabas, he comes, doesn't get there. Headed towards goal, but he's managed to regain his ground and catches it comfortably enough. It was Pearson who got the header in. But again, from a set piece, Wrexham just asking some questions, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And Manny Smith lurking at that far post. Top goal scorer, of course.
Torquay knock it long, that's poor. Attempted switch goes out of play, and well, when you're down the bottom, you don't take your opportunities, and then things start going against you, and you may start to question your morale. Wrexham will be wondering if they're starting to have a chance to put Torquay in that sort of place where they're an encouraging first half, didn't get the goal, and now just might be wondering whether they will regret that as the throw-in's taken and Wright wins a header. Reid is chasing this. The centre-back McGinty gets there. Reid's trying to knock it off him. Did he win the corner? Yes, he did. That's tremendous work by Reid, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Got no right to win that ball, but doesn't give it up. And the defender, McGinty, just beat the pace and managed to hit him off the corner.
Wrexham's two strikes are much quicker than McGinty, and he had no right to chase that, really. Just about as the ball was on the line, he got a foot to it and knocked it onto the defender.
So Jennings, really, he knew he was under pressure. He should have just put out for a throw-in.
Remember in the first half, he tried down for a long way out and only just got away with it. Here's Jennings with another corner then. Again, Wrexham boxing the keeper. It's put into the near post this time, volleyed away comfortably. It'll be kept in by Jamie Reid, level at the edge of his area. It's a lovely little trick to beat his man. Roberts sliding well and tackles. Roberts has done well since he's come on, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got the bit between his teeth, which is what you want to see. A squad player, he's started the first three, lost his place, and trying to prove why he should keep it.
Yeah. Throw-in taken, McGinty on his left foot, drills a dreadful clean straight at Masanka. Reid pops it back to Rutherford, who chips it over the top. Oh, he's under-hit it, and it's cleared. He was looking to put Masanka through. Jamie Reid does well to hook it on towards Keating. Good strength by Pearson to clear that. Gowling beats Masanka in the air. Wedgbury knocks it back over the top. As Rutherford will chase a lost cause here. Durrell wanted to go out of play. It does, although Durrell turns his back on the ball and blocks Rutherford off. A dangerous manoeuvre, but Wrexham aren't complaining. Goal kick. Gowling's armband came off when he won that header. It was a shuddering contact. And the Wrexham fans again are the ones making the noise. The 55th minute here on Calon FM. Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0, but having not really got going in the first half, Wrexham are on top in the second. So, Wrexham fans behind the goal, just trying to put Durrell off, but his kicking's been good, and he gets good distance on that, deep into Wrexham's half, well won by Pearson. Cole wanted to head that, then lets it drop in behind him, and has to retrieve it. Masanka's after him. Cole drills a good ball towards Gray, whose touch isn't the best, surely he's fouled well. The foul goes against Wedgbury. I've got to say, I thought Gray had caught Wedgbury there, but it's free kick on the edge of the area.
I think it was Smith coming in from the other side. I think the foul's given for, which is, for me, I was giving that as a foul.
So caught between the two Wrexham men. Yeah. Shooting position, left of centre. It's a good 25 yards out. Like I said, Young has drilled a screamer against Wrexham at that end previously. He's got previous. Dowling is there too. And so is Howarth. So 3 men stand over it. You'd expect this to be a shot. 4-man wall.
Leo Smith making a great run out to the far corner just to take the player away.
Yeah, standing on the halfway line. Well, Wrexham know where their out ball is. Wrexham's wall is standing right on the 18-yard line. So that means the free kick's 28 yards out, I guess. Here we go then. Young hits it. Good contact. Good save. Dibble gets across and palms it over the bar. Best effort of the match so far, that.
Yeah, definitely. It's Doug Dibble had to watch that one all the way and get a good hand to it to push it over the top.
It was drilled to the keeper's side, but heading under the bar. So, corner, right-hand side. It's chipped, right foot is what's in the box, and Manny Smith heads it away, only as far as Howarth, who decides to carry it down the right flank rather than hit it. Wedgbury blocks the cross. Wrexham shout for handballs, it hits Howarth again, but he's got it back on the right-hand side, swings it into the edge 6-yard box. Pearson heads it away. Dowling brings it down. Will he shoot this? It fell on the wrong foot. He tries to turn away from his man, and Leo Smith wins it well. And when he's played forward, Wright lunges in and catches his man. And the referee's not happy with that, so he'll go to his book for that.
Yeah, it's a fair enough yellow, I think, that one.
Yeah.
Keel Wright tried to guess that he was still going to be in possession, and he cleared it. Late challenge.
But Wright does jump into tackles, doesn't he, rather? He mistimed that. And Higgins is still down, holding his shin. Referee has called Wright across and has got his notebook out. There's the yellow card, the correct decision. And it's a free kick about 35 yards out in a central position.
Much to the annoyance of our friend, one behind and 2 to the left.
I've never come across a crowd like Torquays in terms of getting really angry over really obvious decisions.
Yeah,
it's not the first time this time I've been, right? It's quite notable. Anyway, Higgins has stayed down. I must admit, at first I wondered whether he was laying it on a bit thick, but I think he genuinely has been hurt by Wright, who hit him pretty hard.
Yeah, he's taking both his standing feet, hasn't he? So.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little spell of treatment here for Higgins, who got kicked by his teammate Gowling at the end of the first half. Now he's been kicked properly by Akil Wright. And he'll need a bit more treatment here. You can get in touch with us and hashtag AskWrexham on Twitter, hashtag ASKWXM, if you want to ask us any questions about the game or about just how windy it is. There's been a lower frequency of seagulls than I usually notice at Torquay, usually.
A lack of gulls.
Yeah. As Higgins looks like he's going to be up and able to continue.
Maybe like the mascot, they're having trouble flying with their raincoats on.
I think you're quite right there. Yeah, that's true. It's restrictive, isn't it? Yeah. Wrexham. You noticed that move Smith made from the last free kick where he stood right on the left touchline on the halfway line. Well, this time, Wrexham are going to do it with both Smith and Rutherford. Which, with Higgins off, he'll have to leave the pitch, obviously, and so Torquay and man down is going to leave Torquay with not that many bodies in the box to aim for Young when they play the set piece. Wrexham playing this quite cleverly.
And 2 clear, avenues of play. Then you can stay in your own half, just hit it left or right channel. Not a great deal of pace between them, but enough just to clever footwork just to hold the ball up if they do get it.
Higgins isn't leaving the pitch. Is it? Yes, he is. He tried to stay on the pitch. I mean, you've got to leave the pitch now. The ref says, well, go. Higgins argues with him, throws his arms up in the air and petulantly, and now he is limping very heavily off the pitch. Torquay have had to leave 3 men back, including the big man Gowling. I'm starting to wonder whether Young might try a shot here. It's a long way out. It's very central. Wrexham aren't taking it seriously. They've only got a 1-man wall. No, Young signals and clips it towards McGinty. Gets poor, bounces straight through for the goal kick. And Wrexham, I think, now need to press the reset button, don't they? They started the half well, but that long little spell of pressure plus that lull there, they've got to get things going again now, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Torquay haven't done anything particularly well, but they've just forced a couple of set pieces on us, a couple of free kicks and a corner kick, and that's just taken our momentum out.
So Dibble, who made a good save from that earlier Luke Young free kick, the best effort of the match so far, will take the goal kick. Steps up, left-footed, drills it down the left flank. Higgins is still limping a bit down there. Masanka flicks it on well. Reid has gone down the other channel, and so Cole gets across and clears. Higgins doesn't look comfortable at right back as Jennings hurriedly has to hack it away with right foot. Here's Higgins under pressure. He lets it bounce and then blocks Masanka off. Looks obstruction, that to me. Gowling's got there, clears to the halfway line. Long, Pearson gets under it, heads it away into midfield. Dowling stretches and smashes it into the Torquay fans. Didn't damage anyone, it doesn't seem. Throw on the halfway line left-hand side. Jennings will take it. He's got Reid in the second hole as the obvious target. Throws it towards him. He jumps with Higgins. Comes backwards off the Torquay defender. Gowling at full stretch. Does well to hook it away. And Higgins does well to get across and keep it in. A bit more easy movement for Higgins there than he's been showing previously. Throws to Wrexham, level the edge of the area, left-hand side. Wrexham, as we suggested, are looking to just get forwards a bit and regain some momentum. Jennings then. Masanka's made a little run to the near post. Jennings throws in towards the edge of the area. Awkward one for Leo Smith to take. He does well to get it back to Jennings, who's immediately put under pressure and loses the ball and then pulls his man's shirt. Oh, I think he's going to book Jennings, is he? Well, that'll be a suspension. And with Marcus Kelly, Jennings is furious, but, I mean, to be fair, he lost the ball, reached out and grabbed the man's arm, and if the referee chooses to book him for that, you can't really argue with that, can you, James, don't think?
You can't, it's pointless as well, because Leo Smith would have mopped that up. It's just the impetuance of James. For all his positives, he is a great left back. You will miss him a few games this season because of his habit of collecting cards. 9 games, 5 yellows for Jennings. Down, he gets a suspension for Tuesday, which of course could be an issue because Marcus Kelly's the first choice cover at left back. He's injured at the moment. James Hurst could cover. He's injured. Yeah, I suppose Mark Carrington will, Mr. Utility Man will be back. Free kick's taken right with a good tackle. Leo Smith lunges in as well and forces the ball a bit further away. And it's clipped forward. Smith blocks it. Throw into Torquay. About 10 yards into Wrexham's half, right-hand side. 63rd minute here on Calon FM. It's Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0. Higgins, who's recovered okay now, throws towards the corner of the box. Howarth picks it up and pokes into midfield. Dowling has got an overlap. He's seen it and he clips it well towards Cole. Tries to retrieve it out wide. Running at Rutherford, level the edge of the area. Cuts back on his right foot rather too easily. Then back onto his left, which allows Rutherford to get tight to him again. Cole has swung it across, which Rutherford gets a block onto. Falls edge of the area. Wright gets a toe to it. Knocks it half clear. Wedgbury goes to ground. Oh, and he clips Young there. And the ref doesn't give that. Played in towards the edge of the area. Pearson wins that. And Wright might try a breakaway. He pokes a good ball to Reid. 2-on-2 break. Reid bursting through the middle. Has got Masanka to his right. Hits a shot instead. Great parry by the keeper. And it's headed clear. Neil Smith let roll for the throw. Well, I thought that was a yellow for Wedgbury the way he lunged in. Ref didn't give the foul. And Wrexham nearly score. Ball knocked towards the edge of the area. Good header by Cole. Should have played in Masanka there though. Maybe so, yeah. Two defenders round him. No one by Masanka. Well, it was, whether he could see the pass, whether it was an easy pass to make, I don't know. I think he's certainly going to shoot from that channel. I think that's one where I'll give him the pass and say, fair enough, he's entitled to have a go. And Durrell stood up really well to get the parry in. I don't think it was a great tackle by Wedgbury, though. I thought it was a yellow. I thought he clipped Young. Having just seen the previous challenge that Akil got a yellow card for, you're right. Yeah. I can see him anyway. Wrexham now have the ball at the back. It's still 0-0. Doesn't like his captain's armband. It's fallen off the third time. Yeah, it came off when he was chasing Reid as well. Here's Reid now by the corner flag, winning a corner off Gowling. First one Wrexham have from the left-hand side. So can they profit from this one? Wrexham getting the bodies up from the back. Smith and Pearson. The Torquay fans are getting angry at Keats now, who's having a lengthy run-in with the fourth official. Is Rutherford goes across to take an in-swinger from the left-hand side. Masanka stands on the keeper. Reid is 6 yards out. Rutherford signals, steps up, sweeps it in towards the far post. Manny Smith climbs, heads it back across for his goal, hits the bar and goes over. Oh, Manny Smith head in his hands. Again, the keeper penned in. Again, a clean header. It was beyond the far post, but just couldn't quite. Yeah, it's one of those that time stood still. He sort of hit it, no one reacted, and it just sort of grazed the top of the crossbar.
you just feel we're getting closer and closer to that decisive opening goal. We said the first goal would be crucial. It just feels like it's getting closer. Well, goal kick. Doral's clean sheet still intact.
Creating the chances though now, if we weren't doing the first half, that's the difference.
Doral, right-footed, hits it through the middle. Manny Smith backed into by Gray again. Great header by Smith. Reed beaten to it by Gowling. Leo Smith spreads. That's an ambitious looking ball. Rutherford's done well to get there. Flicks it on, but Cole covers well. Good recovery by the fullback. Gowling tries to lift it over Wedgbury and succeeds in doing so. Out heel right, good cover. Has to hack it out of play for a throw on the halfway line. Right did well there. Wedgbury is just struggling to deal with Dowling. Throw which Cole will take on the halfway line, left hand side. Steps up, throws it down the line and goes beyond Robertson's Keating. Smith and Gray wrestling, and Gray knocks Roberts to the ground. Throw-in goes Torquay's way. Roberts complains he was pushed. I say pushing's not something the referee to bother about that much. Throw to Torquay, which Higgins will take. He's got a long looping throw-in, a very long throw-in. And so Wrexham are having to pick up on inside the 6-yard box for this throw-in, which is about 25 yards out left-hand side. Higgins goes back against the advertising hoardings and hurls it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Nasty one, that. Manny Smith does really well to get his head to it. He planted it up in the air, but that gave Dibble the opportunity to take it.
Quick. He's got Leo Smith and acres of space.
Yeah, Reed was screaming at him to deliver. He's thrown this out to Smith on the left. He's got the two strikers ahead of him. Reed's made a nice run round the back, and Smith doesn't quite pick him out.
Reed had to come back to the offside, and that was the problem.
He just tried to bend his run to stay onside, and Smith played it as he was bending the run and going away from where the ball was going. Long ball forwards, Pearson wins it. Smith volleys it clear. Lasanka jumps and flicks arm, but he was offside. Langsman was quite right there. Lasanka looks astonished. I was shocked the flag hadn't gone up earlier, if I'm honest, because he was coming back from an offside position. McGinty takes the free kick quickly in towards the edge of the area. Pearson jumps, heads it clear. Wedgbury helps it on further. Higgins will beat Leo Smith to that and brings it down. Not sure if he meant to do that. Indeed, he didn't. It's run it out of play. Throw into Wrexham, 10 yards short of the halfway line.
Mustank with the offside rule almost seems to think he can come back onto an onside position and then be active in play rather than when the ball's first kicked.
James, in the past I've had to explain rules to Wrexham players sometimes. not recent vintage players, but so I'm not totally surprised if we might think that. So, Liam Walker on a hashtag Ask Wrexham, asking who has been the best player in the second half. It's a tricky one, that, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a tough one, really.
We'll have a moment to think about it, and then we'll come back to that one, I think. As here's Jamie Reed running at Kevin Roberts, who goes shoulder to shoulder to hold him up, and then Rutherford helps him out well, wins it on the edge of the area, flips it over the top. The Sanker on the chase. McGinty will get there first, thumbs it out of play. May have put it onto your head there, James. No, just fell short. Throw to Wrexham. Nice throw by the bloke in the crowd, straight down to Keats, who smiles his approval.
I'm going to just on the previous question from Liam. I'm going to say Mustanka, really. He's done a lot of good work and running, and he's been involved in the couple of times we've been dangerous. But
he's worked very hard, hasn't he? Yeah. Wright has picked her up more, I think, second half as well. As Mustanka gets the ball from the throw, goes to his good strength, back to Roberts, who clips it down the flank.
Second half.
Yeah. Smashed away by Cole. Wedgbury in midfield, wins a good header. Goes out of play though. Throw into Torquay about 20 yards out from their own goal, left hand side. 69th minute here on Calon FM. Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0, and Torquay are going to make the first change of the match. And it's going to be John Paul Pittman replacing Rory Keating. So, striker for a striker, but maybe a slightly different type of threat. Our friend, whose name I can't pronounce properly, is saying if we had Kelly, we'd have had more of a midfield. That's if you were suggesting that as well, weren't you, earlier on? I think
this would have suited Kelly, this sort of game. He would have had more time on the ball to pick his passes. Perhaps he has done in other games.
Scott Bolden is stripped off, ready to come on, but the throw-in's taken. Wrexham win it back. Mustanka heads on nicely to Reed, who shows good strength to hold off his man. Works it back into midfield. Wright is hassled. Has to go back to Manny Smith. Pearson now. Wrexham tried to spread things up front. He plays it down the flank, and it's inaccurate. Higgins will beat Reed to it and then blocks him off, making sure he's got the throw.
Interesting who comes on for. Who Bowden's comes on for, I think.
Still think they're being Mustanka, you know?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just think it would be. I think Musanka would be unlucky to be the chosen of the two.
I wouldn't disagree with that at all. But I think it will be. I think Reid having more goal threat.
Yeah.
It's an indication of how important Reid, I think, is to the game plan. Unusually for a striker, he's never been subbed since he's come to Wrexham. Ball's nicked over the top of Wrexham's defence, and Dibble will get there first easily. Usually strikers are given a break, or you change things around a bit. Yeah, Reid's played 90 minutes every single time. Dibble walks up to the edge of his area. Gray is stood in front of him to stop him dropping the ball on the floor. And he's now complaining that Dibble's had the ball in his hands longer than 6 seconds. No doubt he has, but refs tend to allow that when there's a striker in your face. Knocks it long. Reid's beaten to it well by Gowling. Pittman's first involvement is to be outnumbered by Wright and Wedgbury. Pearson, good ball to the left. Smith, quick feet, and he nicks inside as well to beat his man. Ooh, Gowling goes in with a studs-up challenge, but wins the ball clearly, and the ref allows it. And then Dowling shows good strength as Wright is shoving him around, and Rutherford works hard to force a back pass. Musanka on the chase. Durrell gets it cleared as Musanka jumps to try and block it. Pittman does well to beat Pearson in the air. Jennings does set it well and is clattered in too late by Howarth, and the ref gives that one. Free kick to Wrexham in their own half. And we'll now see who Bowden's replacing. Eventually, fourth official looks across and holds at the board. It's away from us. And Musanka's clapping the Wrexham fans, yeah. So Bowden for Musanka, but yeah, got to have a bit of sympathy for Musanka. He's worked very hard, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had one of his better games for me. I know he scored his 2 in the previous game, but he's worked hard today. He's put the effort in. The sort of tendencies he's got to be offside and a 4 touchdown again, you can forgive because he is working hard and he's doing something for the team, and you can see the effort he's putting in. I do think Bowden, if he plays how we know he can and just holds the ball up, it might just be the answer for this last 20 minutes.
Yeah. So Musanka gets a handshake from Keats, and then Keats gives him a bit of coaching on the sides of the pitch, talking about his body shape when he goes in for challenges with the centre-backs. So, now what's going on in the centre circle? Jennings has lost his temper with James Gray, and the referee's getting involved. What's happening here? The referee's got a crowd of players around him. Pearson, Smith and Jennings, and Manny Smith seems to be trying to tell Jennings to calm down. As you said earlier when he got that yellow, Jennings has a lot of great qualities, but he's got to watch his temper. Referee's not going to take any action. Something's happened off the ball there.
Yeah, I've not... James Gray is... he's just gone back to him there to have a go with it. He knows he's wound Jennings up then, so he's not been involved that much, James Gray, in the second half, so maybe he's just trying to make some influence.
I think you're right there. He's a chippy character, isn't he? Dibble knocks it long towards the corner of the box. Reid gets it well, wins a header, plants it into the 6-yard box, but nobody can attack it. Durrell's there. Takes it and wanders up to the edge of his area. 73rd minute here on Calon FM. It's Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0. Oh, it's not the best kick by Durrell. It's hanging in the air in midfield. Gowling misjudges it, and Leo Smith as well to pick up a local ball. Now 3-on-3 break. Smith driving forward. 4-on-3 break. He spreads to the right side of the box. Here's Rutherford. Cuts in onto his left foot. Oh, good tackle that. Where the call went through and took the man first before getting to the ball is a moot point, but the ref allows it. And a long ball clears Wrexham's defence. Pearson with the back pass, which rather plugs in for the Dibble, but he gets good contact on his clearance and puts it out for a throw on the halfway line. Left-hand side. Now the referee is going to his pocket. There's trouble in the Wrexham end. There seems a Torquay fan in the Wrexham end. Well, in the yellow shirt, getting taken away by a huge crowd of stewards. There's a few, are there?
Oh, that's
yellow card given to Gowling. Now, if that's what I think it's for, it's bizarre. Gowling had an awkward situation here. The keeper's kick hung in the air. Gowling got himself underneath it, didn't win it, and Gowling sort of landed on him after jumping for the header. Smith managed to keep his balance and carried on. I didn't think it was a foul at all. The rest booked Gowling. That's very harsh if that's what he's given it for. Throw in taken. Jennings with a good clearance on the edge of his area. Played into Dowling. Nice footwork. He beats Leo Smith. Right-hand side. He's immediately held up by a Keel right, though, so he has to go back into midfield. And a sloppy play by Gowling. Reid steals it from him. 3-on-3 break now for Wrexham. Bowden on a charge. Rutherford to his right. Oh, he plays the wrong ball. Tries to play the killer ball to Reid, and Gowling makes up for his mistake with a good interception. Jamie Reid, poor ball forwards. Kevin Robertson, plenty of time. Clips it onto the head of Cole, who heads it into midfield. Wedgbury's got time now. Squash a sloppy pass. He's given it away, and Dowling helps it wide. And there's a dive by Gray. Referee's not having that. Throw into Wrexham. I've got to ask why Gray isn't booked for that. I mean, that was embarrassing. He just shoulder to shoulder Roberts, hit the deck. He's having a right go at the ref.
Yeah, played
should
for
book him for that.
Yeah, he should do. He's played for it a couple of times. Great.
Yeah. It's a throw into Wrexham. There's no Pearson is complaining to the referee, asking him why he hasn't taken further action. Throw towards the halfway line. Bowden jumps, beaten to it in the air. Wedgbury wins it well. Reid is after this, volleyed clear. Rutherford volleys it back, turning the defence again. McGinty heads it up in the air rather, and Reid has got to it first. Left right side of the box, chips it into the area. He's not too much on that. Leo Smith chases, but Higgins will beat him to it and clears as the wind gets blustery once more. Pittman against Pearson, good strength by Pearson. 50-50 ball, Pearson can't get to that, but he forces a mistake from Howarth, and Wedgbury squares it to Roberts. Poor ball. Howarth just clatters into Wedgbury after the ball's gone, nothing given again. Bowden flicks it on. Higgins drills it down the flank. Awkward over Jennings. Good stretch. Volleys it away. And manages to find Leo Smith, who keeps it in. Bowden helps it on. Reid can't get there. This really is getting stretched now and quite direct. Pittman holds it up well. Works to the right. Dowling. That's a clever ball to the edge of the area. Gray back to goal. Wedgbury's done really well to dispossess him, but then again loses possession. Long range shot is well off target from Pittman. Wedgbury lunging in front of him to put him off, forcing him to hit it wide at the left post. But Wedgbury's been quite slack in possession, I think, on occasions in the second half.
Yeah, there's a couple of times they've just let simple balls, just laying off the fullback, laying off the target midfield. It's just sold them a little bit short, and it's made the fullback or the centre half that he's passed it to just have to come out and clatter the ball against the oncoming Torquay attacker.
77th minute. Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0 on Calon FM. Wrexham digging in, battling hard against the bottom of the table team. Double knocks it long. Reid jumps and can't quite judge it. Goes over his head. Throw to Torquay. 20 yards short of the halfway line, left-hand side, which Cole will take. He has Pittman offering himself down the line, marked by Roberts. And throws it towards him. Pittman backing in, heads it up in the air. It's Wakil right again, winning a good header. Rutherford drills a clearance against Reid. Hard tackle by Dowling on Leo Smith, and now Higgins has space to run into as he crosses the halfway line, right-hand side. Feeds it out to Howarth, who runs at Jennings, tries a little step over, chips in across the edge of the box. Dibble comes, takes that well. That's good keeping. Because there were bodies in front of him, and he had to stretch, didn't he, to hold it in front of him.
Yeah, it's good handling, that is.
And he was hit as well as he took it.
Looks like he stretched his back. You mentioned he'd got a back injury. Previous.
Well, he's up. But we mean to keep a little eye on Dibble, who hits it left-footed. It does seem okay after that. Huge kick that. Bowden backing in, being pulled by McGinty. Drops loose. Clear foul on Gowling by Reid. Ref doesn't give, and it's thrashed away. Manny Smith, great challenge in the halfway, and Leo Smith, unlucky. Oh, horrible ball to control. He managed to take it on the thigh, but it dribbled away from him. Through to Torquay, level edge the area, right-hand side in their own half. Higgins will take it. Higgins throws with distance towards the halfway line. It bounces through. Pearson wrestling away with Gray, and it's gone out of play for a throw to Torquay. About 35, 40 yards out. Approaching the last 10 minutes of a bit of a scrap, in all honesty, this match. Throw and taken. Higgins chips it, looking to turn defence. Pittman chases, but there's no backspin on that, and it skips through for a goal kick. And Wrexham can start again. We have other attacking options on the bench. Holroyd, for example. Would you be tempted to look there, or do we just think, okay, away match, clean sheet, let's just keep it tight and see if something falls our way?
I mean, I don't see him taking Reid off, so the only option for me there would be Holroyd on to Smith. But then you're sacrificing the shape that he tends to stick with, so I'd be interested if he does go down that option. I think you've got to remember with Holroyd is he's been out with a shoulder, so his fitness generally should be okay still. So, and we can see from his 30 minutes in the cameo in the first game that he can be an impact player.
Andy Davis on #Ask Wrexham is reading my mind. A couple of minutes ago I thought what he just asked, how long will the highlights of this take to edit? Frankly, not long. I've hardly made any notes. As they are Hickam Torquay looking for something. Oh, great tackle by Wedgbury. Brilliant challenge on Dowling against Neil Smith. The ball is outside of his foot down the right channel. Reid has got Bowden and Marks in the middle, and he tries to and missed the ball. He's kept hold of it, and he's... Oh, dear me, the ref's given a foul against Reid. The linesman gave it. The ref's agreed. Well, right, firstly, Reid, if he'd flicked it in the box, Bowden was unmarked, and he missed the ball. And then when he retrieved the ball, I can't for the life of me see how that's a foul by Reed.
I thought the defender dived in and tried to get the ball.
Yeah. And I when I saw the flag, I thought it was a harsh free kick in Wrexham's favour.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Incredible decision. Anyway, Brendan Griffiths is saying he's just tuned in. What's the game been like? Fairly grim, really. Windy, blustery, difficult to play football in. And this has been a scrap and not that much quality play, in all honesty. Torquay have worked hard. And there have been many chances, in all honesty, as here's Jamie Reid crossing. Manny Smith does well to block it in the near post. Roberts at right back clears. Roberts on for the injured Hurst. Hurst came off in the first half. Throw-in which Cole will take about 30 yards out from goal, left-hand side. Yeah, so it's been a real National League battle, in all honesty. Very few chances. Dibble made a good free save from a long-distance free kick. Manny Smith hit the bar with a header from a corner. There's from the throw-in, Roberts does really well to win the ball from James Gray. Clears it, but Reid misses the bounce. So too does Young, but Bowden miscontrols. Jamie Reid tackled well by Roberts. Roberts drives forwards, feeds it towards Reid. Good tackle by McGinty. Roberts tackles again on the halfway and goes chasing after this now. And again wins a throw-in. Rutherford on the last tackle, in fact, and he quickly is given the ball from Davis and takes a quick throw-in back to Wedgbury. The last few minutes have been just hair him, scare him. Oh, that summed it up. Wedgbury with a hurried ball back, and Rutherford just shins her out for a throw-in. Quality's been low in this game, hasn't it, in all honesty? He's been a scrap, really.
It's not been great.
It's like a sort of heavyweight fight on the undercard between two slightly overweight heavyweights of...
It's one of those you're dreading. I know you're going to be asking the man of match at the end of the game, and I'm really trying to struggle to find one.
As Pearson clears and Bowden chases this, McGinty and Durrell aren't sure what to do with that, and as we hook for a throw into Wrexham 10 yards out. It was a nasty one, that, because he wanted to run through to the keeper, but it went just outside the box, and so in the end the centre-back had to hook it out of play. Throw in which Roberts will take. Yeah, your man of the match goes tricky. There have been no doubt in the heart and enthusiasm of the players, but little quality in from either side, really. There's a throw-in taken to Bowden on the edge of the box. He holds it up back to goal. He's worked it back to midfield. Wedgbury thinks it's, oh dear, out of play. Rutherford has found space down the flank, but the pass was nowhere near him. And it's a throw to Torquay, 10 yards out from the corner flag in their own half. Throw-in should be taken by Cole. He throws down the line. Roberts wins it, and it's missed by Bowden, hooked over the top. Wind holds it up. The wind does not help the quality of this game. Pearson smashes it long. McGinty against Alex Reid in the air. Well won by the centre-back. Wright wins the second ball. Heads towards the edge area. Miscontrolled by Higgins, but Gowling hurriedly hacks it clear. And Jamie Reid, I think the wind deceived him, but he managed to change feet and volley an accurate ball forwards. He gets it back. Nice footwork by Reid. Pops it square. Young on the halfway line. Spreads it towards the right-hand side. That was really well judged. And now Higgins finds Dowling. He turns Wrexham's defence. Pearson as well to get his head to it. And Akil Wright pops it up to Jennings, who clears over the top. Bowden backpedaling. The wind carries it beyond him. Cole with a header. Rutherford just blocks his man off to make sure it's a Wrexham throw. Anthony Roberts asking, why doesn't Alex Reid pass the ball? You see, but James and I disagree over this one, because that last one, I don't know. I know James was thinking he'd pass it to Masanka, who certainly was unmarked. I think that one, unlike the Bowden one last week, he's entitled. I don't know. Throw-in taken, nice touch by Bowden. He's then fouled.
I get what you mean, he's entitled to take the shot because he's running that goal with two defenders, but when you're running, he knows Masanka's there, running alongside him, and just a simple 20-yard pass with no defenders around him puts Masanka through one-on-one with the keeper. But then again, he just tried to play in Bowden and fell over. So maybe we don't want him to pass. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough call. You've got to have that certain selfishness as a striker. We agree with that. But I think there's times when there's choices to make, but that's why we play at the level we play.
Anthony is asking now whether we should change Reid for the last 10 minutes. Well, Holroyd is sort of like for like. It's possible. Wrexham have an attacking free kick here, about 30 yards out, right of the centre. Jennings will take it. Torquay hold the line on the edge of the area. Tricky to dink it in behind him, but he's floated it nicely. Manny Smith heads it over. That was a real chance. Better chance than the one he hit the bar with.
Yeah, best chance of the game. He's just got... I think the wind's just held that up because it's going to flow in front of him and he's going to have a diving header on goal and just sort of holds up and ends up on top of his head. But just in question for that, I'd keep Reid on for the last 10 minutes because the way the game is stretched, he has got pace and we know he's got a goal threat. If you're going to bring Holroyd on and go for the win, it's either Smith off for me and change to 4-3-3.
That was the best chance of the match from Wrexham's point of view. Manny Smith getting goal side of his man, 10 yards out. He was stretching for it a bit, to be fair. Wonderful delivery by Jennings, and Smith headed it over the bar. Now in the halfway, and here's Cole carrying it forwards. The wind again gets up, sloppy ball by him. Reed gets a foot in, but Young manages to retrieve the ball. Cole again in the Wrexham half. That's a clever pass to Jamie Reed on the left flank, but his poor touch means just to go backwards. Cole to the edge of the area. Pittman tries to spin Pearson. He's held on to the ball well without quite getting past the centre-back. Finds Jimmy Reed, crosses into a 6-yard box, and Dibble grabs hold of it. That was dangerous, that. It was a nasty one. It was different keeper's ball. He attacked it, rolling on the floor.
Manny Smith like always ran over the top of it. Yep. Sort of like...
Yeah, Smith attacked, didn't pull out. He just, like I say, stepped over it. And Dibble fumbled it, understandably, because he thought it wasn't coming through to him. But he did manage to hang on to it. So no fault attached to Dibble for fumbling that. He did well to hang on to it in the end, I think. Dibble on his left foot, edge of the area, knocks it long. We are into the last 5 minutes as Gowling heads it clear. Leo Smith heads it on. Alex Reed on the chase, but Luke Young will tidy it up. Knocked long by Higgins. James Gray heads it on well. It's all for Manny Smith. And Pittman's after him. Smith plays a back pass beyond Dibble to be a corner. And Pearson is tearing a strip off Manny Smith, saying, why did he just hook it out for a throw-in? And he's right. He should have done, shouldn't he?
Yeah, he should have dealt with it. And fair play to Dibble for not grabbing it, because Wrexham would have been really in trouble then. The free kick, albeit indirect, but right in the 6-yard area.
Yeah, so instead it's a corner. But Wrexham caught out there. Corner, away swinger, right footed towards that 6-yard box. Good header by Wedgbury. Drops on the edge of the box where Dowling tries a long range shot, and it's never getting anywhere near the target. That drills into the advertising hoardings well wide of the 6-yard box. Andrew Pollard saying, fair play, lads. This game sounds absolutely dire, and that's just from being sat at home, let alone with a 6-hour trip awaiting. Oh man, that's not going to take 6 hours, is it? That's a comment on my driving.
I don't know. I'm not looking forward to hitting the M6, M5 with all the roadworks either.
Oh, that's true. Don't worry, I'm aware of which service stations are worth stopping at in terms of coffee, and I've planned my journey according to that. Long kick, very long kick by Dibble. Bowden beaten to it. Wedgbury lifts it over the top, looking for Leo Smith. Much too strong. Throw to Wrexham, the Torquay level edge area, right-hand side. And that's a crowd of 1,841, 251 Wrexham fans. That's a brilliant figure, isn't it, James?
It's a very good figure, and whether 251 Wrexham fans will brave the trip down and we draw Torquay in the cup this year, I don't know. After this performance.
Wrexham knock a long ball to turn the defence, and Reed is after this. The keeper's having to come out and guts there. That was horrible defended by Gowling. Dropped behind him, and he just headed it upwards in the air. Gave a ball Reed could challenge the keeper. Keeper was always favourite because the ball was dropping from a height, and he did catch it, but it was sloppy work by Gowling, and if he got a little bit less than that, he could have got there. Carrington is ready to come on. To see exactly what that's about. Roberts has got his hands on his knees. He's not taking a knock, and he's stretching his leg. And the fourth official holds the board up, but away from us. And
Leo Smith.
So is he taking a knock? It's quite late to make the change.
Or just sharing it up, I suppose, and Pat's pushing Rutherford up.
Hello. When the match ends...
So, Leo Smith, he's put in a decent stint, I think, hasn't he, really?
Leo Smith, yeah. He's done what's asked of him.
Yeah.
Doesn't see a great deal of ball on the floor, which is probably his strength. But, he's maturing into a player, Leo Smith.
He's worked very hard when he hasn't had the ball as well. But hasn't been able to have any creative impact, really. So Carrington comes on, straight onto the left-hand side of midfield. And Wrexham return the ball to the keeper, Durrell, because there's a Torquay player down who wanted treatment. Durrell has the ball in his hands now. 89th minute here on Calon FM. Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0. Wrexham going to have their first goal this draw since bonfire night when we drew at North Ferriby. Long clearance. Manny Smith volleys it away. Rutherford scurries after that. Jamie Reed's too strong for him. Rutherford keeps going. Was he fouled? Ref says not.
Definitely better than injury time winner, though, was that?
That's very true. Carrington now pressing on the halfway line. Higgins to go backwards. Dowling knocks it over the top, looking to pressure Jennings, who gets up and heads it away. Not much distance on it, though. Picked up by Gray, right-hand side, taking on Jennings. And he drills a dangerous cross, and well done, Pearson. Facing his own goal, did brilliantly to clear it to the corner of the box. But Akeel Wright does well to beat his man to it. Jennings over the top. Reed is isolated up front, chasing after this. He'll get there on the left-hand side. Well, McGinty did really well. Gets a foot in, throw to Wrexham. Level edge of the area, into the last minute. Wrexham will wait for Jennings to get there to take the throw. Jennings in a huge rush. As Jennings he's still not arrived. He's got there finally. He's got the ball in his hands. Carrington offers by the corner flag. Thrown towards Bowden instead. He holds it up on the goal line and knocks it off his man. Is that a final corner for Wrexham? Yes, it's hit the flag and stayed in. So Jennings is hanging onto it. Turns and knocks it off his man. Luckily for him, sticks into Howard's feet and he's able to turn and clear it. Word header by Pearson. Drops to midfield to Keel Wright. Under pressure, can't hang on to the ball. Smashed over the top. Bounces all the way through to Dibble. 3 added minutes as Wrexham concede a free kick miles off the ball. It was Manny Smith against Gray. Free kick in midfield. I'm tempted to say the ref's been suckered by Gray. All the off-the-ball stuff. Gray's been winding people up, running into people, and the ref's been quite quick to pull the trigger. Either that or our defenders have been suckered into doing impetuous things against him.
Yeah. Clever play if he's tempted him, because that ball's just running through the Dibble and Wrexham can launch another attack. As it's now defending.
So far off the ball, I certainly didn't see it. If a challenge is that far off the ball, it deserves a free kick. Is it a yellow card, isn't it? Ball driven to the far post. Gowling wins the header when it drops harmlessly out of play for a goal kick. The flag was up for offside anyway. And nothing comes of it. It deserves to be a 0-0, doesn't it, really, in all honesty?
Yeah, I mean...
I'd like
on the balance of play, it deserves 0-0. On the balance of chances, Wrexham probably deserve to nip it.
Yeah.
It's not been great. It's not been... disjointed football, I think, is a good...
As Anthony Roberts is saying, a point is a point. It keeps us tight within the top 3. Absolutely correct. And as I Torquay, like I said last Saturday, totally dominated Chester, letting a soft late goal. They're not terrible. And they've worked hard here. The 2-4-4-2s and the blustery wind, I think, have cancelled teams out to some extent. Dibble knocks it long. McGinty, powerful header, but inaccurate. Plays out of play. I think he's wearing a gum shield. I've seen him sometimes going for the ball, and there's something glinting on his face. So I'm assuming it's a gum shield in there. He's built like a cruiserweight, McGinty. As from the halfway line, Roberts throws down the line. Reid beaten to it in the air. Held it by Pittman, who clops it down to Jamie Reid, and he knocks it over the top. Gray will chase this, but Pearson will beat him to it under pressure. Pearson wanted to run behind, but it touches his body, so he has to scoop it for a throw by the corner flag, left-hand side. And with 2 of the 3 added minutes finished, it's Torquay who are pushing on, looking for that injury time winner. Higgins is a long throw, and the right back has gone over to the left-hand side to sling this in. Wrexham have left just Bowden up front.
Taking their time about it, making sure this is the last meaningful attack.
It's a crowd of players in the 6-yard box. He's got a hell of a long throw, Higgins. Steps up, hurls it towards the 6-yard box. Dibble comes in the crowd. Good punch by him. Drops loose edge the area, gets a touchdown and shoots. Puts it wide. Took a deflection, corner. Dangerous, tense moments for Wrexham. Corner right-hand side. Wrexham, again, need to batten down the hanches here. It'll be an away swinger. There's lots of movement on the edge of the 6-yard box. Swept to the near post, Wedgbury volleys it clear. Bowden fighting for it, can't win it. Drops the Cole on the halfway line. Rutherford's pressuring him. Cole chips it in. It's headed partly way by Wright. Carrington hits it against Gowling, who spreads to the left-hand side. Dowling swings it in, off balance. Manny Smith as well to clear now. Can Wrexham break? Carrington has it. No, because there's the final whistle. Carrington frustrated by that, because Bowden had made the run over the top, but that is the final whistle. The final score here on Calon FM, a Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0.
I'm Christian Dibble, follow Wrexham AFC on Calon FM.
Well, 0-0, and quite frankly, I don't think it deserved to be anything other than that, really, did it, James?
No, absolutely, and I think one of the Ask Wrexham comments was, take a point that keeps us in that top 3. We've lost 3 this year, we've won 3 and now drawn 1, so at least, it's better than getting a tick in that lost column. It's one to can sign off, but we've come another big away journey down south, another overnight stay for the team, and they've got to come away with a point. And as you said, it's not a bad point in the conditions that we're playing in, and they're not a bad side, Torquay. They haven't really, they're a bit toothless up front, but in a way it reminds me of what we are. But we're a little bit toothless up front. I know we've got Reid and Masanko with a bit more pace than they have, but generally there's the second half with great chances, but otherwise not.
Yeah, but as we've been saying before the match, we're still a work in progress.
Yeah.
We're solid defensively. We haven't got it right yet, I don't think, creatively. And this is just a little bit of a reminder of that. We never looked in a huge danger about letting a goal in, but having said that, we never really looked in huge danger of scoring one either.
No, I mean, we take the point. We didn't threaten particularly, but we said it very much, as you just said at the beginning of the commentary, well, in the pre-match build-up. It's a work in progress. We're still there or thereabouts. It's a solid point. We're not playing at our ultimate potential yet. So it's not as... I think it's a bit frustrating because we've had a long drive down, we've got a long drive back, and so you come down and you've not seen what you want to see. But, you know, in terms of effort, the players are putting the effort in. You can't knock that. In terms of organisation, the organisation's there. There's just something not quite structurally working or clicking just yet.
Absolutely, yeah. But defensively, that's good. I mean, consecutive away clean sheets for the first time since February 2016.
Yeah, 4 on the bounce now. I mean... Yeah. Seasons are going to be built on solid defences. You know, we've just got to work at the other end and just nick that goal to turn those, turn the 1 point into 3 points. It's another positive. I don't think Torquay looked dangerous apart from the set pieces, corners and free kicks, and that's where they did, put us under a bit of pressure. But apart from, maybe the one silly mistake Manny made. Instead of just clearing the ball and rather than letting through the Dibble in those last 10 minutes when you're under pressure, that's about the only fault I can think of, really. Roberts did well when he came on for James Hurst and took off where he left off.
Yeah, it's. I'll throw one more defensive stat in. We still haven't let a second half goal in this season. 1973, the last time we didn't let a second half goal in our first 8 games. I don't think it's going to be possible to work it out further than that, because there comes a point where you've just got score lines. But I don't know what it proves, but it is something. And you know full well, James, why I gave that point to the stat, just to buy that extra bit of time for you to think about a man of the match.
Oh, how long have we got?
We've got 3.5 minutes.
Oh dear.
Do you want to bluff further? I'll make a call if you want, but I've got no strong feelings myself.
No, I've got no strong feelings. I think Manny Smith, Sean Pearson have been solid again. Dibble's had a solid, but hasn't had to do a great deal. So I think this time it'd be wrong to give it to one of the defence, because they haven't really. Though Roberts had a solid second half, certainly the first 20 minutes of the second half coming forward was an asset. Midfield, Aki alright when he breaks up play and drives forward, looks good. I want to see more of that. Wedgbury's had another quiet, almost anonymous game, and Jennings, his impetuous is going to get him in trouble, and it's already cost us. I think you said it 5 yellows in 9 games now or something.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's it's not a record you want. Reid, I think's had a poorish game. Again, he does look, I suppose, a threat. So he's always asking the questions to defenders. So, but hasn't really done anything. And the Seagulls now have descended that you're just asking, asking where they've been all game.
I'd like to see a post-match Seagull in Torquay.
That's pause giving me a little bit more. I think.
Do you want to discuss the Seagulls for a bit? What do you think about this? I will say that Ollie Williams whispered a name to me, and I think the way you're describing this, you may be heading in the same direction as him.
Maybe, I don't know, but I know who he'll go for, I think. I think Masanka had a very good game. I think his offsides sort of reading of the game still needs work on, and his first touch isn't brilliant, but a great deal of effort in. But I am going to go with Rutherford, which is a bit of a random one, I think, because I don't think I mentioned his name a lot in commentary. Sorry, we mentioned his name a lot in commentary, but he was our most attacking player, threat. Anything we did well, he was involved in. And his engine is just unbelievable, chasing round, down, covering the ground, covering his fullback. And anything, like I said, anything good we developed or look to develop came from him. So I think he's one of those unsung squad heroes that doesn't always get the recognition he perhaps deserves. And I think today was, on a day which was difficult to pick a player, I thought he was my man of the match.
That is the name that Ollie was mounting towards me.
I know Ollie's a big Masanka fan, so I thought he was going down that line.
And he did work hard, Rutherford, didn't he? I think a couple of times in the match, actually, I credited Roberts for a Rutherford tackle, because you just see a bloke going in hard and on the right-hand side, and you thought it was Roberts. But yeah, Rutherford, he's improved enormously, it seems to me, this season, maybe because of the players around him, and that's a really good sign.
I know, commenting with you last season, we mentioned him a couple of times when he had some runs in the side and wasn't injured, coming back from injury a couple of times. His link in with Rooney and Barry at times was, you can see there was an intelligent player there, but now he's got better players around him, and he's got more confidence in his fullback and his defence generally. He has, I think it's allowed him to step up, and he's been a sort of a bit part player in the National League, and so for him it's challenging. He's sort of justifying why Dean Keats wanted him in, because I think a few question marks and eyebrows were raised when we first signed him, but I think there's a player there. If he had a yard more pace, I think he could really be a solid player at this level, maybe the next level up. It's his only sort of criticism in his face, but he's an intelligent player. He keeps the ball, he works hard, and anything we did attacking wise was there.
Absolutely. So Rutherford, the man of the match, in a match where there wasn't much to report from. The final score of Torquay United 0, Wrexham 0. I'll hand back to the studio.
Calon FM 105 FM.
intervene. There you go, smashing teapots with a stone. Throw the flashback at the camera so it can't raise your soul. You're a solitary soldier, wartime colors on your shoulders. Save that song for when you're older, 'cause you know the hills won't intervene.